So yeah, we have gone through the news. Not much today. People are talking about trade, and we're getting ready for the anticipation of all the other deals and all of that. But for the most part, it's still going to be that chill summer session. People are going to work out stuff. We have, I guess, the only big event today is going to be the bond auction, as well as a not an emergency meeting, but a surprised, unscheduled meeting with Trump in the cabinet. So we're probably going to hear that live. We will see where that takes us. Oh, there's me in the background. But yeah, we've already gone over the plays and everything else, and we will see. All right, so I do think, again, Sunrun, that was surprising. We're going to go over the long term and then a lot of Apple Meta AI shit. Again, the Meta poach continues. So we will see. But Chatadonia, oh, there it is. Round 1. Fight. It didn't do the ding ding. Oh, I didn't open up my other platform. That's why. Yeah, you missed the bell. That's so weird. That's so weird. Ah! Alrighty. Again, Tesla, they had a lot of moves there. Microsoft, DJT, even UNH to start off. At least we're green. Russell's leading. So remember, yesterday we got off to a pretty slow start. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. All right. All right, there's the long term. I want to just see SPY and equal weight. So again, you guys saw it yesterday, even from last week. Remember the rotation elements? So I'm going to put up SPY and equal weight, and I do think if there's a big gap or not, that could start to give us a clue. So right now they're matched up. SPY's a little bit higher, so nothing has really made a move yet. Remember, you had business confidence and a couple of other things this morning. You are going to get one more inflation expectation thing, but that should be it. And then watch the currencies. Again, the Aussie currencies moving the most today because they didn't cut rates. And then the Japanese yen from yesterday, that's already down by 0.4. Coin is just tripping out. That's been going crazy. NDRA. Or am I going to sell the rest of the stocks today or just throughout? I don't know. So I'm going to wait till I get more of the, what's it called? More updates. I got a base number this morning. I verified, but we still are technically waiting for the appraisal. So I still got a little bit of time, but essentially now that I know when the money settles, we can operate a little different. Hood, Coin, MP. Where's that other one? BSGM. All right, that one already came down. They're doing weird shit. That AIP one came up. I was a small cap with the NVIDIA thing. And just watch some of the Bitcoin plays. Again, it's just been every other day you've heard something about the Treasury. Tesla is up by 1.8. Banks are selling off. What's up with this? JP Morgan, Goldman. Yo, banks are getting murdered. Actually, yo, JP Morgan down 2. Goldman. Yeah, all of them are going down. Yeah, very weird. Banks. That one's odd. Again, like I just told you, the dollar's moving around and you got the Aussie and some central bank shit, but very weird. Yeah, so XLF is your big loser. Again, staples are ready to go, but just like you saw at the beginning of the year, they like get excited in the morning and then they either flip and do the opposite or do nothing. So staples are still moving slow. IonQ is moving up. Then you got Joby. Some of those EV tall plays are going up as well. SPY hasn't moved. Everything's green except the Dow. And then a couple material plays running, and then I see a couple of Bitcoin treasuries. Oh, healthcare. Yeah, why is healthcare up? I see that too. That's weird. So again, you got banks down, healthcare up, staples in the middle, and then a couple of big tech is up as well. QMA? What is QMA? SoFi, I didn't see SoFi news. Workhorse, Arcade, but yeah, what's up with banks? I don't know what's going on there. Endra, I feel like I saw that. Didn't they have something with NVIDIA? And then Reddit. Oh, I got Reddit tinfoil too. It's old tinfoil. Somebody gave it to me yesterday. We'll have to share that with you later. Datadog got a downgrade. So again, they had good earnings. They killed it. They had 1 day of ripping, and then that's it. It's low-key flipped since then. Okay, SPY a little lower. A couple other names. UK Foreign Minister. E3 can snap back on sanctions of Iran. I'm going to check that SoFi thing, what you guys are saying. Because it didn't show up on the early scanner. Airbnb on the high. Expands access to alternative investments. So at 620, SoFi. It came in a little later. But no, they even had it in the morning. They're partnering with Kashmir to include new private market funds from asset manager firms, including Kashmir, Fundrise, and Street Advisors. Though these funds can gain exposure to private companies across AI, space technology. Oh, no way. So you could even, so SoFi, I don't know how legit it'll be, but they're partnering up to allow, people to buy private equity. That's pretty cool. So again, SoFi, I remember we had to play at like 11. I hit that earlier, but damn, I don't know if I want to play it at 20. But yeah, that's good news. I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. Even if it's not good, I think people will buy that shit up for a little bit, if that makes any sense. Bop, 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 bop. Yeah, bro. Oscar was even going from yesterday. And then watch Boeing as well. Those got exciting yesterday towards the close. Yeah, Solar Trump signed a bill. It was actually very random. Because the bill, that big beautiful bill, guaranteed a lot of them money. And then he kind of just did an executive order to go after them. It was very, very... I've never seen anything like it. It was very, very odd. You picked up a buy already? The one you listed yesterday? Or is this just another client? Oh, they got lost and asked you. Oh, okay. I was like, dude, no way you sold that property. Intel and then Playboy is up. Why is Playboy up 17% or 7%? Intel getting a candle. Again, see what happens with the banks. They're still kind of low. Even some of the big tech, they haven't done too much. Again, like I said, healthcare up. I think staples, they need to pick a direction, but now they're starting to aim lower. They were stronger in the pre-market, which is crazy. Oscar is on the high. Again, the plays were up a little bit more yesterday, but they are still working. Yeah, again, that's part of the healthcare one, and like I'm saying, all of them are up. Playboy is a publicly traded company, yes. I don't know if it's like, I don't know how they segment it, but yes, Playboy is. There's strip clubs that are private. I think they're organized as REITs, so. Apple on the high, or actually Apple on the low, excuse me. Yeah, so that's your first big tech. I don't know where Google, Microsoft, and all that. Meta was chilling. Google's on the low. BMNR. I am rooting for the staples too, but you know, as a guy who's selling a long term to go buy a property, I hope they take their time, Habibi. You know, then we come back and then yalla, you know. Airlines look strong, but just be careful. I wouldn't trust any airlines off the morning. We saw it yesterday. Remember yesterday they were doing very good and then oil just kept going. So at least oil's down. If oil's down, I think airlines will do better. But if oil starts coming up, I think that could get rid of any move. Oracle's up 3. That's hitting another high right now. I even see Disney on the high. Even got Webull, SPB, Spectrum. Oh, what's this? SPB, big volume. Wasn't Spectrum a scam, or am I thinking of something else? Wasn't this like a $5 stock or something? Did they do a reverse split? Well, it's having big volume, no real like liquidity, so be careful. But yeah, Oracle's still going up. The tax on overtime? I don't know. I think you're going to have to talk with your tax professional. because it's not what everybody thinks it's going to be. There's going to be limits on it, but I think it goes straight to your paycheck. I don't think it's a tax deduction that you do at the end. I think it's something you get that increases take-home pay, but I'm not too sure. I ran on the high. Look at sound, please. What do you got? 1280. Remember, momentum. I have a chart to show you, but these like momentum plays have been killing it. That's what they did last quarter. So this is why some people think they may flip, but go look at that. AIP, Navitas. Go think of any of these. Again, BSGM. There's so many of these names. So get it while it's hot. Enjoy it while it lasts. Just don't fall in love with it. And that would be my warning for sound. I read it was a tax deduction. Well, am I thinking the other one, either no tax on tips or overtime? I think one of them leads to higher take-home pay. We had this discussion. So, like I'm saying, I could be wrong about this. Anything that comes to taxes, you guys know what I tell you. Go fucking talk to your tax professional. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think one of them leads to higher take-home, and then as people have been debating, you know, there's limitations on it. It's not, that's why it's like, yeah, there's caps and how it plays out and depending on how much you make. So that's why I'm saying you should definitely talk to your tax person, but everyone's getting a benefit, you guys. I'm telling you. I hate it. This is the conversation I had with my mother, and she's like, why are you mad, son? And I'm like, because, Mom, we're spending all this money again, and it does raise the risk of homes becoming unaffordable. It raises the risk of a lot of things happening, or if the economy, you know, if we run into a problem and we use all of our bullets and then, you know, we're not prepared. So we're spending less. Oh, come on. Listen, brother. You know, when Joe Biden said the same shit, you got pissed off. I'm not gonna let you go out like that. You know, because I got pissed when Joe Biden would do it. I would hate when Joe Biden would spend fucking $7 trillion year number one, and then spend $3 trillion the next year, and be like, we're not spending anymore. We spent the least in any president. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They said the exact same thing. So unfortunately, I'm not going to play that game. You know, I think I've built a reputation on keeping it real with you guys. So we're going to keep doing that. But just sadly, it is S-Bet on the high again. A couple more of those Bitcoin ones. And then I see Marvel on the high too. And KHC. Watch Staples. Spies moving. But yeah, like I'm saying though, there is, I think they're spending a lot of money still. Again, if the revenue generation works, then maybe it won't be as bad. But if it doesn't work, we're going to have a problem. I can't deny that. And I wouldn't want, you see what I'm saying? I'm not here to keep you guys unprepared. You think I'm really here to support a motherfucker? No, bro. Everybody here, if you give me time, I give you time. Be prepared. I want you to do good. Like I'm saying, if this bet works out on the bill and Trump, awesome. We're all going to make a lot of money. I hope you're positioned for it to make even more, right? But at the same time, don't be naive that there is an element where this could turn to shit. That's a possibility. I'm not going to ignore that. Neither should you. And you should have a way where if it does turn to shit, you're still going to come out good. So I'm not going to be one-sided about this and our prospects for the next 6 months, let alone the next 3.5 years. So I hope y'all are ready too. Circle is dropping. Again, stocks are coming up. You got a couple of leaders. I think it is tech, and then watch if financials. They came up a little, and then healthcare is one of the leaders. RBA, yeah, they didn't do it, bro. They surprised. We could be entering a new era, but remember the whole divergence. Everybody I'm glad we documented it because so many of you were here day after day, month after month, and I was like, bro, you guys know it. Remember that one day I came on and we listened to, what was her name? Christine Lagarde on the EU, and she was doing her speech, and then you guys remember, I was like, dude, it sounds exactly like Powell, like verbatim. At one point, Lagarde came up and just said the same speech as Powell verbatim. That was a couple years ago. And I remember we were documenting it, and we were like, look how much coordination there is. Every central bank was just doing the same exact thing. Nobody was willing to go their own way. And then all of a sudden, election, that's what changed it all. And then everybody started cutting, we started staying, and then now, once again, that story develops today with the RBA. They were pricing in a rate cut, and then all of a sudden now, again, everybody, European, everywhere, all around the world is cutting rates, even China. So why wouldn't they cut? And now they're not. So we'll see what that means. Maybe it could be tied to a trade deal or something, but at the end of the day, that is another set of evidence of what we are seeing of central banks starting to act a little bit more independent than they have in the last 4 or 5 years. So very fascinating. And that's why I said it here in the morning. That is affecting the dollar because it caused a decent currency move. Yeah, all of healthcare. I have XLV in the top right. I think that's pretty fascinating because the staples aren't going yet, and then financials are down, and then big tech is like kind of holding up, but very, very interesting. The dynamics, even since last week's rotation, it just you're getting a weird broadening out. Maybe it is earnings because again you will have blackouts, but yeah, it's interesting. What's your leader in the morning? Let's see if it sticks. But I have been fascinated. I didn't buy Oscar for the long term, but for a long term play, but I did make a play on it yesterday. And then we brought it up on the watch list last night too. Oh shit, dude. You guys remember that Synchrony play? That thing's up at 800%. Oh, we still got 2 more of those. Nice. All right, SPY got a big candle. I don't see anything. Meta got a price target raise. Elf $2 candle. Let's see, buddy. Elf, yeah, kind of off the bottom. Yeah, the healthcare is. If it stays, that's gonna be a runner, bro. Yeah, healthcare will do, but if healthcare flips by middle of the day, then don't thank me for it yet. That's the only thing. That's what I'm saying. These morning moves have been a little bit. You guys all remember airlines yesterday. I vividly remember UAL up 2% in the morning, and then an hour after the bell, that shit's down 2%. So, and then again, I think even financials were down and then ended up. So we'll see what happens. Like XLF was down a decent amount. So these morning moves with everything. Oh, Japan trade negotiator Akazawa had phone call with Besant. That's your candle. That's what you got. U.S. Japan agreed to continue vigorous talks on trade. I wouldn't call it bad news or good news. I think it's stringing along the good narrative, and then you put the peach on top. Oh, no, my goodness. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Bradley Frizzle. Bradley Frizzle, which one? I'm gonna let Bradley Frizzle decide. Bradley Frizzle, what stock should I sell next for the long term? I'm gonna let Bradley Frizzle decide. You know that? Bradley, I don't know if you were here yesterday, Bradley, but we are in escrow on the compound, and we're moving forward, and yesterday I sold all my losers. So again, I want you guys to see this, because look, tax info. After yesterday's activity, we took a $28,000 loss to get about $50,000 in equity. And now I want you guys to see when we start selling gains, you're going to watch some tax-free gains. So yeah, which one, Bradley? I'm going to let Bradley pick the next one because I got to slowly work my way out of this now. So Bradley, when you decide, you let me know. You let me know. I'm waiting on the peach. I'll let the peach decide. Oh yeah, the compound, bro. Oh yeah, where you been? Oh, you been in fucking France, dog. You been the long term. How are you, honey? What you talking about? The long term. You have to save 10%. 10%, Joshua. But yeah, we sold some of the long term. We close on Friday or Tuesday. We got a farm coming. He said I can't make the decision. I know, bro. I know. But it's we had to. You guys are gonna be shocked. You're gonna be shocked. That's why I started with the losers yesterday. just so we could see the tax losses. And then now you're going to see everything else. But we have pretty much till end of this week. I got to get rid of either 220, and then they're telling me worst case scenario 270. So I don't know. So worst case, I do all of it and I get 0 tax benefit, which sucks. Best case, I keep the gainers, write off all the taxes, maybe like $3,000 tax liability. But then we get to keep some of it. So those are my 2 options. Am I really giving it to the Chad? I mean, in all senses that are reasonable, I mean, I think it would be very foolish to hand a multi-million-dollar asset to people on the internet. But I am going to give you guys a very good free use opportunity with it until you fuck it up, as always. Is that not what happens? So I think I've done pretty good with that. I am always willing to give people stuff, and I'm always willing to try. And I'll never give up on the man, but we have very, very high standards. So like I say, I mean, I think, I used to give you guys all these plays and everything, and then people will eventually mess it up. So if I give it to the people and they keep it good, it's all yours, bro. In my mind, I hope that for like the real Chads, and it's not, and I do get sad because I don't want to exclude people, but just some people aren't going to take care of it the same way. You know what I'm saying? But I do hope it's like a place that people, you have a place to go. Like I've always said, I mean, we've always done Thanksgiving and other things, but it's like, I hope you have a place, and some of you, you'll have an opportunity and it will be there for you. If you need it, or if trouble comes, I hope it can add relief. It's not going to be something where I'm going to let people live in it for free, but if you ever need a week or two, it will be there. So yeah, I think it's a great evolution. Amen, bro. Amen. But definitely needs responsibility. I know it'll be sad. It's sad to sell, but not really, you guys. I mean, this is the fucking mission, dude. So it's one thing about getting you guys a compound, cool, but this is what you are going to do to get I said it yesterday, dog. I'm telling you, this is it. And whether you're young or not, this is how I got what I got, Chad. All of y'all were baffled how little Egyptian boy, and I've been doing this on YouTube for years, bro. And y'all were baffled about the shit I've already attained and acquired at a young age, and even now I got no hairline. It's real estate and stocks. This is big money, and this is how you work them through. But once you build enough, and if a property ever comes your way, I need you guys to be able to act on it. And I want you to see it, and I don't want you to hesitate. I don't want you to get caught up in emotions and sentimentality. We are here to grow our wealth and protect and solidify our futures. So let's go, baby. Amen. Intel, yeah, because I sold it, bro. What are you talking about? What did you think was going to happen? You think I was going to sell my long-term and it wasn't going to rip? Come on, bro. Akazawa Besant spoke for 30 minutes. Japan's MOFA says. Small tech up, big tech is down. That's hella weird. That's what I'm saying, because some people thought by second half here we would sell off the momentum, but the momentum's holding. And then big tech is just slowly. K-Web on the high. Remember, China started off good. No idea how to buy a house. Well, this is how you're going to do it. I mean, usually it's the people doing the work, the agents in escrow. They're the ones doing the real work of it. But like I've showed you guys, this process, get in touch with people. I did this by sitting here. Again, other people did the work, so thank you, Lending Tips and Escrow, and then all the lenders, then you have people working to make their money, but at the end of the day, it really is this, you look, you shop online, you'll go out and see it, and if the numbers check out, you're gonna fucking buy it. Then that's what I need you guys to start doing. You see what I'm saying? And then I explained this to Homeboy yesterday. Some of you think that's where the plan ends. No. Because once you're done with that house, whether you live in it, whether it becomes a big part of your long-term portfolio, or you flip it and sell it, what do you think is going to happen with the money? So, like, hear me out. Right now, you just watched us grow this stock account. Now we're going to turn it into a crib. What do you think happens after I sell that house? Like, what do you think is going to occur? So let's say now let's say 1 year from now, let's say Chad, we have a good time, but then, you know, one of the Chads who doesn't get a long term, he like messes up the compound and he gets sad, you know what I'm saying? And then somebody fucks it up and they're like, Josh, you're an evil person. How dare you eat the cows that you farmed on a farm? I hate you. And, you know, and they try to light the property on fire. And I'm like, okay, this is too much liability. And then I'm like, it's been a good run. And then I sell it. And then we make $1 million, right? God willing. Either way, well, God willing, I hope they don't light it on fire. But you get the idea. But are you following? What happens? So let's say I sell it. And then I make $1 million. Let's say I make $500,000. Let's say I make $200,000. Fuck it. Let's go conservative. Let's say I make $200,000 off the sale, right? Where do you think that money is going to go? What do you think will happen? No, I don't. Let's say I don't 1031 it. Where do you think that money is going to come back to? It's easy. Exactly. It goes right back to the stock market. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Some of you guys are like, I don't want to finish. No. I don't want to stop trading. I love the stock market. No, I don't want to sell to the house. No. I don't want to do it. I don't want to let go, Jack. It's not over yet. I'm like, bro, you're going to be right back to it. That's the whole, come on, bro. What do y'all play? What do y'all stop playing with me? Yeah, bro. Keep the money working. That's why I've kept the money in the long term. It's working. Until we get the house, it's working. We get the house, we move it, it's working still. We're done with the house, we put it back in the stocks, it's working still. You're gonna have your money working while you work. And that's it. So like I'm saying, man, it's bittersweet, but remember, it's a circle. It's all a cycle. It's all a circle. You know, we go with cash, save, no money, save up, build up money, put it in stocks, grow the money, look for the house, get the house, keep the house, make some money off the house, take the money, put it back into stocks and save, and keep doing that. That's the process. Ta-da! It does look beautiful. I don't want to sell either, but it's so beautiful. Dude, I'm telling you, bro. It's crazy. Jake from State Farm. What up, baby? Good morning. Good morning. You sold, bought a house, got an off market, 230, appraised at 280. Let's go, baby. Amen. I hope too. I hope it has good comps well above the appraisal. So, you know what I'm saying? And then again, if it cash flows or not, if you got that plan, you're still moving your money to a good asset. That's why. Just make sure it's legit. Circle on the high now after selling and then Zim. Wasn't planning, but it came up. That's good, bro. I really like that. That's the idea. You should just be looking every day. Something comes up, bro, then you're ready to go. If not, you're the market's working fine for you. TLT is just, it's a Jerome Powell problem now. That's it. Like we're saying, we saw some surprises even with Australia today. You know, central banks, what they're doing with rates and this whole Powell thing, the economy. That's what I'm saying. I think real estate stocks are uninvestable. Anything tied to long-dated yields or yields in general, until the bonds do this, it's not really the environment. And why I say that, just think, you have already lived through something odd. And I think Donald Trump is aware of it. Donald Trump and, well, mainly Besant. You cut rates in September by, 100 basis points, 50 basis points? And the rates went up 100 basis points on the long end. That doesn't happen all the time. And I think that has people, it's highlighting that it's not really about the economic situation. It's the policy choice and how they're enacting it, and mixed in with everything else, and then raising the money and funding the government. That's what we have to deal with. Oh shit, Nike went red. I'm gonna sell Nike now because I want more losses. I'm gonna take my $67 loss. Okay, Nike is gone. It went red. I gotta get rid of the covered calls too. I want to sell again though, so you guys see it. Oil's rocketing up right now. All right, you got some big ones. Secretary Rollins, there'll be no amnesty for farm workers from immigration enforcement. Kanye would be proud. All right, I want to show you one. I'm going to do this one. You're going to see. Give me a sec. How many is that? 2. All right, are you guys ready for this one? So what I just got rid of another thing, but this is what I want you to see. This is the whole point, and it sucks because if I have to use the whole long term, I'm just showing you this, but I'm not going to get a benefit. So once we sell enough, but I want you to see in real time how it looks. So again, I sold a couple of things, and I want you to see 28,761 loss, right? So now get ready for this one. Are you ready? Say goodbye to Uber, Chatadonia. So $14,000 gain. Isn't that crazy? 200%. Are you ready for it? Oh, wait. Let me see. I need to get one more save of all of this before I sell it all. I already sold the stocks I was down on yesterday. So now that I've done that, I know what my losses are. And then I'm going to go to balance it out right now. And then once I have it balanced out, we're gonna see what we have. Again, we have another account, so, and we're not touching that. This is just the big one. All right. So again, you saw the 28,000 loss, right? Shares, sell all, market. Ta-da! All gone. So now, ready? Tax info. Boom, 14,000. All of that Uber was tax-free because of our dumb Snapchat and shit. You see that? That's exactly why I tell you to hold the lot. You could only write off 3,000 a year. By saving all of those losses and doing them how I am showing you, you have been able, you're lowering your tax liability. You see what I'm saying? It sucks because we made money. So if I have to sell everything, we're going to have a gain no matter what. But this is why I've always told you guys, like with the taxes, at some point towards the end of the year, you either have taxes or not, and then it like incentivizes moves, if you've ever wondered about something. So yeah, but there it is. So that's why, because I know some of you guys were like, remember when I sold Palantir and all those other things? Some of you didn't really understand it, but I'm like, dude, I had tax liabilities. So then once I was incentivized to either take losses or to take risk, depending on where my taxes end by the end of the year. So that's a whole nother topic though, but I have told you that over the years. So yeah, look, ta-da. But yeah, so now we're down to 14,000, and then how much cash? So we have 68 in cash, and then we have 22,000 pending. All right. But yeah, I'm gonna go little by little. What else do we got? Oh, that one. I think I'm gonna sell that one. Is that my red candle right there? And now it'll bounce. I got you. You want to know what's next, bro? I'm gonna sell this one. I'm selling Coinbase. This one sucks though. I'm mad this one has a gain. This should have been a loss. But literally we got 42% on Coinbase. Bye-bye, buddy. This was supposed to be a shitty play. Place order. All right, and then let's go back to the taxes. Oh, was it only... How much was it? There you go, 13. So there you go, another $1,000. But do you see what's happening? As I started this, my loss was 28,000. Now it's down to 13. So once I keep going through this, we're gonna get rid of all the losses, but then everything else is gonna be fucking taxed. No. So actually, here's gonna be the next strategy. I'll show you. I wanted to get rid of a couple of those. At 13. All right, it might work. You still prefer all gains? No, you don't. Like, it's actually illogical. All right, SPY's going down, but here, let me get rid of some of these. So what I'm gonna do next now, I'm gonna get rid of all of the small plays so that we could utilize the 13,000, and then all the taxes will pretty much be left on the big ones. So we used a lot of the losses to pay for Uber. I could pretty much now use the losses and pay for all of Meta and get back 14,000, but I could get back 14,000 easier and taking way less gain. So I'm gonna do that. All right, that's what we're gonna do next. So let's just start at the bottom. Oh, you're gonna be gone now, buddy. Thank you for your time in the long term. We still have you in the other account. Shot at the farm. Okay, so that was a small gain. Now Solventum, these are free shares. And then we'll keep the other ones for the rest of the day or even tomorrow. But I'm gonna get rid of the small ones. Place order. Oh, NVO, I love you, buddy, but you're gone. That's a good one. I really like NVO. Doesn't matter what order you sell them, but depending on how it moves or what I'm gonna do, I'm trying to get as much money as possible while zeroing at the taxes, and then if I'm lucky, I could just use all of that. That'll be enough to pay for the loan, but usually it won't be. All right, NVO. I like NVO though. I might want to hold it for a little, but no, part of the plan. We'll get a little gain on there. Loss would have been nice. Ventum, NVO. Again, I'm taking all these small ones. I hope you guys see that, because then that way we get way more cash without really... Oh, I gotta close a covered call. Well, we'll do that when we get ready to sell. Oh, Baidu, that one as a gain. Thanks, Baidu. I like that one too. PayPal, 20%. How did we get 40% on fucking Coinbase, dude? PayPal. Oh, Whirlpool. I love you, buddy. I love you. But you're gone. See, again, these are smaller, so I'm going to show you at the end. We'll see where we're at. Pizza, pizza! I'm keeping Papa John's for a little bit. Fuck that. AT&T, I'm really happy to sell that one. Oh, Coca-Cola, I don't want to sell. All right, let me see. Let me get a refresh in. $9,000. All right, we still got a little bit more room. But do you see now? Because look at with that 9,000 though, I'm pending at 58,000. Isn't that crazy? So we've reduced our losses by 13,000, 15,000, and then I got another 58K in cash. Ta-da! So now, just in the last, what, 10 minutes of yesterday, an hour, 30 minutes of today, I've already got back a little bit over 100K in cash. And I have a loss. So, ta-da! You see what I'm doing? So if I picked the smaller property, I could have done this and I could have just spent 100K. It kept the rest, and then there you go. You see what I'm saying? Ta-da! All right. Well, let me see what we have. Like I said, I'm just going in waves right now. I want to get rid of the smaller ones, because now we still have 9 grand. All right. We're going to knock off Disney, and I think that'll be it for the day. Or until end of the day. Because that'll be 3,000 gain and then 10K back. All right. If someone was gone and just came back, that's why I told you guys, stay locked in, bro. 7,000. So again, we still have losses, which is a good thing, but then we kept some of our biggest positions are all still in play. All right. It's cool. So 68 pending, 68 settled. So now I'm about 50% cash once this settles by tomorrow. All right, man. And then we got Abivod, Netflix, all of these we're going to start moving around. It is emotional if you didn't prepare. So like I showed yesterday on the watch list, you guys, I've been running models on this for like 3 weeks now. So that's why now the moment has arrived. Game time. That's all, bro. That is all. So yeah, again, if you weren't preparing and like you're not thinking, you're like, but I'm telling you, bro, this is I rejoice, bro. I rejoice. This is a good time. Wait, Abby Ron. All right, bro. I think we're good. I close on Friday or on Tuesday. It all just depends on Callie and everybody else. I have not said the total cost for the compound, but you could probably figure it out. Well, my down payment's a little weird, but it's a sizable property. And again, I wish I was shopping. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. The first compound I looked at was 200 grand, and then the expensive compound I looked at was 600,000. And I don't know how the fuck I ended up here, but it was a deal. That's why I had to do it. That's why. That's the only reason why. It's a Bible verse. It's everything, bro. When a deal comes your way, bro, I've showed you this before, but now we're using the long term. And remember, you guys kept asking me in the beginning of the year. Don't forget. You guys kept asking me. Remember, you're like, the long term. How do I do it? I don't want to do it. How do I do it? When do I sell? Do I sell here? Do I not sell? Do I sell and take a... So, yeah, here we are. It is. It's like graduating. But I can't wait, bro. I can't wait. You guys don't think this is weird, though? I think it is. I think I'm about to see some of y'all a little bit more now. That's funny to me, bro. I'm like tripping. I'm like, wait a minute. I think I'm going to start seeing a lot of Chads very soon. All right, let me tell you one part about it. I'm going to just tell you one part about it that's already on the property. It already has axe throwing. It already has like a little mini shooting archery range, and it already has a smoker, a grill, and like picnic tables already in this one area of the property. And I'm just, oh man, Chad, you're gonna love it. You're gonna get ready. Get ready. You're gonna work. I don't want you to work for me. I want you to make money off of it. Do you understand? Let's go. I need somebody just as crazy as me, bro. That's what I'm looking for. I'm nuts. Looking for a nutso out there who's just like, you know what? I can make a lot of money off of this. That's it. I'll give you the land, dog. I'll give you the land. It's on the house. Or you just become a farmer. USO again. Why is oil? So remember what I was telling you guys about this morning and yesterday, or yesterday morning, with the airlines and all of oil. Look, it's doing it again. Airlines go up, oil starts rocketing, then it starts to get a little weird. But I don't see any news. We only had the, oh no, they're saying Israel military struck key Hamas figure in Lebanon's Tripoli. Yeah, oil again. So Israel attack, and then Morgan Stanley infrastructure partners agree to sell Red Oak Power Facility. Wait, dude, Nvidia's up too? Wow, wow, wow. The monthly deposit on the big account is $3,000 a month. And then the small account is $300. They both started at $2,200, and then they went up 10% a year. Unity, big volume, into the high. RGC, I think they had a headline in the morning, and then QS, Quantum Scape. I don't know what happened. Dude, isn't that wild, dude? I heard people talking about Nvidia. I remember when $1 trillion was a big deal. I remember when Apple was the first company to hit $1 trillion. I vividly remember that. And I remember it was a very big deal. I have a video from years ago saying Nvidia will be the next $1 trillion company. I don't know if you guys saw that video, but to think that it is a $4 trillion company? That's insane. What do you... I remember when 1T was like, dude, what the fuck, 1T? Now we're talking 4 T's. And I don't even work in a sentence. It don't even... No word has 4 T's in it. That has 2 T's. Thaddeus has 3 T's. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense, but... Welcome to 2025. That is crazy. MSTR will hit $1 trillion. So let's go back. Let's take a step back. Elliot, do you know why you got banned last time? Because I remember. You know, after seeing your response to this Nvidia conversation, he comes in with MSTR will hit $1 trillion. So do you know why you got banned the first time? Disney and Hearts exploring sale of A&E Global Media. Oh, Disney selling off a unit as I sell them? You remember? I think maybe the Chad will remember. You don't remember, so you don't know why you got banned? I mean, I think the Chad knows why you got banned. So you got banned for pumping MSTR left and fucking right. No matter what it was, you were going on my Twitter and you were not leaving me alone with MSTR. You would come into the chat, MSTR. Every time we would have a conversation that was not related to MSTR, you would pump MSTR, and I got tired of it, and I don't think it's good. So I hope you learned from it, but the fact I'm reminding you now is a red flag because you have already resorted back to that behavior. So yeah, watch it. Yeah, I get it. You like MSTR. I don't think it's that bad, you know what I'm saying? But I don't, talking about it all the time and, pumping it like that, and it's not acceptable. So thank you. Yeah, you got a little red there. Disney, they just said they're selling off a unit, and then Cyber's on the high. His villain arc? No, man, not at all. Like I said, bro, I'm not trying to piss you off. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I do want you guys to represent yourself in the best possible manner, though. And I don't want you to unknowingly or knowingly influence people in the wrong way, or even in the right way. You got to just do your thing privately. If you like something, you like it. Make money and let the results show for it. You know what I'm saying? But I say this so that, you people will regard you highly in this. But, again, you don't have to keep saying your investment thesis over and over and over and over. At one point, I'm going to ask you, are you trying to convince me or yourself? So, and here we have it. IRS says churches can endorse political candidates without losing tax-exempt status? Oh, no way. Well, that's wild. They kind of endorse it, but they're not allowed to. Remember, I've told you that. You officially done with degen activities? Hey, man, good. And don't worry if you fall back into it. And I say that for yesterday's philo. You guys need to know what is right, know what is wrong, and I need you to pursue them both furiously. You get what I'm saying? And when you know it's wrong, bro, that's life, bro. We do things that we know we shouldn't do. You need to control it in a right way that it's gonna let you fall forward. You guys get that? That's what I've been trying to show you. That's why some foolish people, that's what we've talked about from day one. I brought the long term up with all of the option stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm saying, you gotta really there's gonna be, all of investing is based on speculation. You get what I'm saying? Even when I make a solid investment, it is based on speculation. You get what I'm saying? These are separate paths, and you have to keep them separate, and you have to know which one gives you what. And it's not gonna say, all have fallen short, my brother. So you just need to know, at the times when you're stick on the right path, vehemently stick to it. When you know it's not there and you could recognize it and you're like, yo, this isn't, I know that's not good, even if you engage in it or not, you have to be able to remind yourself of, yo, that's not the path. And that alone can help you a lot. Otherwise, if you don't remind yourself, you're going to try to dilute and mix the paths together. And my brother, lightness turns to darkness. Then you're now in confusion rather than I made a mistake. I would rather have you all make a mistake than walk away confused. They don't feel me, bro. Somebody tell them. But amen. That's why everything in the reaction in the chats. That's why I'm big on clarity, bro. Make a mistake, dude. Go gamble, fall short. Let's get better, bro. Doubt your efforts, not your aims. But you see what I'm saying? It's not here to. We're not gonna act a certain way about it. And I think y'all know, bro. I want clarity. You're gonna all make mistakes, but let's have clarity. I don't want you to make a mistake and not know how to correct it, not know how to stay on a good path, and then now you're wasting time and energy being confused. And now confusion causes more damage and pain than anything else, brother. What do you think is gonna happen? So that's why, live with your mistakes. Learn to do it. Get on the right path. You're not gonna always stay pure and perfect, but you have to know this, and you have to keep those paths and don't ever dilute. So let's go. All right, spot dumping a little more. What are we at right now? 0.7 or nah? Yeah, dude, this is tiny, actually. I'm mad that JP Morgan's still going down. No. How much? I'll get 19 from that, or... No, we'd get more from the other ones. Damn, all right. Israel Air Force carried out a drone strike on Hamas terrorists in Lebanon. Yeah, no, because I'm like, maybe if I sell... I don't want to sell JPM because it's down, but... Yeah, it doesn't... Pretty much that we only have 12K, dude. Or 10. 7! Oh! Fuck! But... yeah, so if I sell JP Morgan, we'll be in a gain. And then if I sell all of these, I could get as more money back than JP Morgan, and then it would be less of a gain, surprisingly. So, yeah. All right. We have to cover the... Do we have... Can I? That's stupid. They're gonna make me cover a covered call. I'll do 15. I don't want to do market on this one. He's pleased to make it free. Okay, cool, bro. Open. Damn it. That's why I don't like the... That's why I like doing the markets, bro. You know that? Because they will fucking waste all of it. It's still not filling? That's crazy. I hate these people. So yeah, because I can't sell it without covering the covered call. That's the downside of your covered calls. All right. Filled. All right, I covered that. Oh yeah, we have... Well, it's only been an hour. But I like it because we haven't moved a lot, so I want to take advantage of this now. I like the value that we're in at. And then we're going to get... I'm going to do these. All right, you guys. Papa John's is leaving. Actually, no, it's not. I'm going to keep it. We'll sell Coca-Cola. Pizza, pizza. All right, bye, Coca-Cola. I love you. Arquite, I love this one too, bro. But you're gone. Gone. Oh, 3M. 50%. Gone. Give a fuck. Give me that crib. Give me that crib, son. Oh, Baba. Baba, I love you, bro. Thank you for everything. Remember how fucking early we were on this shit? Stop playing with me. You know that? Now that I sell this portfolio, y'all can act like I ain't do this, but I still have it on the other account, so... Yeah, what not? You don't know how people sell these stocks? What do you mean, bro? You guys is great. Can't believe we're here. This is good. Again, I mean, listen, I'll be honest with you guys. If at the beginning of the year, if some of you didn't sow so much doubt towards this, I wouldn't be doing this. You know that? But I think you guys showed me. I need to show you this. If I don't show you this, you're never going to do it. The added benefit is we get a community center. But at the end of the day, bro, you guys, remember, I was just saying we're never going to sell it. And then all of a sudden, they wanted to sow the doubt, bro. You guys got to get a crib. You got to get a crib. No exceptions. I think we're in gains now. Fuck me. Fuck! So now I have 5,000 gains. That's it. Now, and then everything else is just big profit. And here we are. So now I have 100K pending. I just sold off $100,000 in front of all of you, whether you realized it or not. Then we got another 68K from yesterday. And now this is the remaining. So now I got my big ones, and I'll keep these. And then now I at least have about, 170, almost 200K ready for homeboy if they ask. Yeah, now I just have 60. I have a lot of games just sitting there now. This is sad. I don't want it. Or now I could just go take a bunch of dumb gambles but no, I have a purpose. I have to get the house. Mo and Meta are gonna kill us. All of them. All of these. So this was my one option was to sell the big gainers and keep everything else. But given we don't know how much we have a big range, I'm going to be here. So not bad. Not bad. And then we'll wait for everyone else. JD. It feels so naughty to sell. No, it doesn't. It's just like sex, right? Like sex, isn't sex awkward for some people, right? And like religious people, but like Jesus is all about sex, bro. Just you got to be married. You see what I'm saying? So this is like having sex. You guys are like, it feels so dirty. I'm like, my brother, this is right. This is the Lord has blessed it for the property, my brother. That is, we are doing it in the law. This is the right way to do it, bro. I don't know if they feel me, bro. So yeah, I know it feels weird, but it's very natural, very, very natural. We are getting that crib. I hope they feel me, bro. I hope they be fruitful, bro. Go buy a house. Go be fruitful. You are called. All right, you got a big run. Iran foreign minister to visit Saudi Arabia. I don't know if that's what's causing it. See what happens. I want banks. Yeah, it's a big bounce. Tesla's even going up now. Iran foreign minister and Financial Times op-ed. Progress made in talks between Iran and U.S. has been sabotaged, not by Iran, by ostensible ally of America. Who could that be? 10-minute call? No, I haven't done a call in a while, bro, with anybody, unless it's real estate. But what do you got? You could send an email and I could answer it privately, or maybe if we do an 11 at 11. But the thing is, this is a new era, brother, and the new era that we are on is that you need to listen and apply it on your own. You don't need anybody to hold your hand. I believe there's enough content and things on this channel. You don't need anybody to tell you. We have to just live on what we already know. So and you especially, I think you're a very wise man, Alex. Yeah, with you, even if you made mistakes, bro, you know the path. You just got to learn to start applying it. And that's what we got to do. Bro, it's a fat pop. What is this? They said Josh sold everything to run it? Okay. Yeah, bro, Tesla. I think it's not chips. Let me get you guys it's AMD. It's not the big chips. It's a couple of the other ones. Yeah. Let me get you guys a checkup here now because we are about 2 minutes above an hour. Damn. Dow Jones, 15 green, 15 in the red. NASDAQ, 58 green, 42 red. And then SPY, 282 green, 280 something, or 218 in the red. So, dude, it's 50-50. Everything. Every single thing. Every single thing. I don't know if there's a balance. We heard some things on Iran and maybe Iran going to Saudi Arabia, but other than that, there was like bad news about Israel attacking. But I don't know what caused that. We called out QS earlier today. I remember saying that. Not bad. XOM still. AMD, that was a nice one. Then you got Intel, a couple of staples, like we said, healthcare in the morning. That's still leading. Staples did not get a bid, surprisingly, so no real rotation. But You're watching a little bit of broadening out. The crazy part, this is tiny. Dow is still barely red. SPY is only up by 0.02. And then, yeah, NASDAQ is up by 0.12. It's crazy to think about all the building and then you could sell it all in 1 minute. I know, right? It took years to build all that. And then it takes a couple minutes and it's gone. But that's why I tell you guys the rules that we have. You have to have discipline. Do you see how easy it is to acquire and let go? That's the beauty of the stock market. That's what I was telling you guys. The liquidity, nowhere else in the world can you move 100 grand that fast. You guys remember, as I've always told you that, I've made my biggest money in real estate. I made my fastest money in the stock market. In the stock market, bro, paper can move so fast. You can't move money anywhere this quick. So that's why it's like it requires a lot of discipline. You guys have your own account. You all have your account. You could click buttons and get it, and you could let go of it. That's why this whole like 10-year minimum, the mentality, everything we talk about, you have to take it seriously because the system is in place. You could go and get rid of all of it today. The first sign of a bad news, you could sell all of it. You could, then it could go and do its thing, bro. So very, very wild, but yeah, man, many, many years to build, and it just whoop. Hi. Google, there's a couple of names still at the low. Again, it's 50-50, so the dynamic can go either way. Keep that in mind. Did defensives get a bid? Let's see. Like food staples won't get a bid, but I see some of those. Yeah, the food companies. Illumina on the high. Again, this is medical related. They even have some China exposure and some activist shit, but see, that's usually been a dud. J&J now going up as well. SPY's above VWAP, just right back to where we opened. Again, the Russell is moving kind of with average, but SPY, NASDAQ, Dow, it's very, very tiny, bro. And then the Dabe, a lot of things. High ticker just woke up after all of that. Will you build back quickly? My strategy is not changing, you guys. I hope you realize that. I love it. Everything is exactly the same. I am just doing what I told you all to do, and like I said, it's a natural process. So remember, I have, let me put it this way. I have 2 other accounts that we have done with this purpose for everybody, and I'm still managing them exactly the same. Does that make sense? So like literally I'm still gonna be buying the same stuff. Even as I redeposit to the long term and do that, this account is not being touched. So amen. This was the account that actually came before the big account. That's why I was like, the big account is just not really realistic, you guys. How many of you are saving $3,000 a month? That is 360 grand a year. That is in the top 5% of income earners. So although some of you do make that much, and I'm proud of you, it's not like, that's what I'm saying. Come on, you guys. But this, you work at McDonald's, anywhere, this is a very, very realistic account. And like I'm saying, I'm still holding cash. We have our cash plan. We're low on cash. I'm going to be doing the same thing. The same names I'm going after, I'm still want Pepsi more than I want NVIDIA. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many. That is all going to be the same. So all we're doing is just buying a house and starting at a different amount now. And then that's it. Ta-da! You save 6K a month. Well, that's good. You just got unbanned today, so I hope you don't flex too much, but most people don't save that much money. Like I'm saying, I started off the small account with $200, $300 a month, And then after a couple of months, people were complaining that it was too small, even though it was very realistic. So then I did a big one, and then I kept raising it 10%, but then now it's at a very, very big amount of money. So that's it. Can we start a new long term? We are, but it's going to be the same, and now turning it to a real life thing. This is what you all should be doing. That's why I don't think it's that confusing, but it is racking some of your guys' minds because I don't think you want to do it, but you need to. So yeah, everything is staying the same, you guys. I'm just walking away with a trophy, as I've always told you. You know, I did it with Bitcoin. I've done it with real estate. And yeah, every time assets and fake money makes me something, I turn it to something real. That's the best thing you could do. Robinhood is now in the mortgage business. They are not. So Robinhood, like everything they're doing, they offer a lot of products, but then they're just partnering, and then they're selling your data and selling your referral to make money. So they partnered with a regional bank that offers mortgages. So if you apply for a mortgage through Robinhood, they're going to get a commission, but then Robinhood isn't holding the loan. They're not funding it. They're not underwriting it. They're not doing anything. Robinhood is just an affiliate marketing company at this point. So yeah, that same thing with the cash delivery, same thing with some of the other products they've offered. They're partnering with financial institutions and other ones to do these things, but they're just making money off of you. We are prestiging, exactly. Same exact thing. We have all accomplishments. We unlocked it. Now we just unlock something. Okay, Tesla and the SPY. That rally is holding. You still got a Dabe on the high. We do have CPAs in the chat, but don't fall for the trap of soliciting because you will get banned. So don't lead your brothers into a trap. I don't like that. This is not, you know, Jesus flipped tables for turning the house into a bargaining place. That's not what this is. So get a long term, get a house. Thank you. Thank you for the details. I don't know a move in the market. There was actually bad headlines on Israel and war, and here we are. And then Germany hits a new record high. Germany year to gains are 30%. Man, H. Yeah, honestly, that's what I was saying. 0.7 is going to be like the pinnacle from now until end of August. Like 0.7 to 0.8. That's how much you're going to move. This was all maybe 0.5%, but on the scoreboard, it's tiny. And then Russell's already there. Tesla is ripping. Maybe that's what it was. And then Philip Morris and MO on the low. And Coca-Cola. Actually, when is MO's ex divvy? I already sold the other one. Coke. Oh, nice. I'm still gonna get my dividend. So even if we sell MO, after MO's gone, we're gonna get the divvy. But yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm mad JP Morgan's coming down though. Banks are still flushing all day. NVIDIA 8.8 cost? I could accept that. No strike price, I'm down. I'm getting the divvy because, what's it called? I got the divvy because it passed ex-dividend date. So even if I sell out this stock, since I owned it on the dividend, I'm still entitled to the dividend. A lot of people getting delinquent on escrow because taxes. All right, another big red. Hold on. Nah, you just got another one, and this time bonds, but don't forget about the currencies, bro. So remember, currencies will give you another effect there. Pretty big. Trump tariffs will start being paid August 1st. No change or extension will be granted. So, do you know why he is saying that? I don't think the market's going to trip, but there's context to that. Do you know why? Think about it. It happened this morning. We heard it. Some of you even repeated it. It's because after yesterday's letters were sent out, they were saying that August 1st is like the new taco date. And they're pretty much saying that August 1st is taco and that he's going to back out, yibbity bobbity boo. So now he's coming in and saying, no, that's where we make the money. That's where we're going to get it. So you could take that as negative or positive, but then again, people were already spinning that narrative from the morning. So I would argue it's kind of priced in, and he's just kind of reaffirming. Trump banning Chinese purchase of U.S. farmland. Didn't he already do that? Yeah, JP Moore, bro, why? Right. Yeah, isn't that the old farmland? I remember some of that. As per letters sent, will be sent today and tomorrow, August. Yeah, True Social. So again, the reports come in. Now the market's going down a little more. I know, JP Moore. It does. Dude, they just announced that, what, $40 billion buyback, though? But big fan. Amazon flushing. What the fuck? So again, Amazon was getting pumped in the morning, but yeah, that just flushed. Prime Day spending down 14% in early hours. Yeah, that's not good. Because again, last Prime Days, even though it was kind of calm, they like beat the numbers. But yeah. That's great. Venezuela oil minister in Vienna for OPEC seminar. Pervasive. I know, I was just looking at the other ones for staples. I wanted to see if health, because I noticed MO and Abby-Vi were catching a bid, and then you'll notice some of the other ones are trying to hold up, but there are some pretty big moves already. I mean, there was a time, you guys, where Amazon Prime was legit. You know what I'm saying? And like, bro, some of you, this was when I bought Amazon stock. This was like 10 years ago. But like, Prime Day used to be legit, you guys. And then now it's just a scam. Everybody, dude, they've raised the prices ahead of Prime Day, and then they just lower it to the same price. But yeah, we've had this discussion last year, I think. But at one point, bro, Prime Day used to be dope. Yeah, it really did. But I used to get like $20 monitors, $40, $100 crazy monitors, bro. There was like good tech shit that you could get. Now it's just like weird. Now that Walmart bid is fading off of that. And then bonds are catching a bid right now as well, too. Oh shit, I was muted? Oh, I didn't tell you guys my plan. I'm about to sell Papa. So yeah, what I'm saying is, because I need to make sure we have X amount, I need to have at least 220. And I don't want that to change. So what I'm going to do before Trump fucks shit up, the cabinet meeting I think might give it a boost, but then again, we still have like 0.5%. It sucks. I don't want to sell to JP Morgan, but what I'm going to do is I'm pretty much going to get my 220, and I'm going to sell half of the MO, half of the Abby-Vi, half the Meta, half the Netflix, and then everything else will be gone. Ta-da. Maybe we could do half of JP Morgan too. So let's see. 20. We'll sell 10. Thompson, is he already live? He's gonna be live. I thought it was at 11. I guess it's 8, 9. No, it is 11. It is 11. Shit. Time flies. Why is it saying that? That's weird that they're still pending. Oh. No. That's so weird though. It's still showing me pending transactions. So now we have 180. Perfect. So like I said, we gotta, let's just half all of these and then we're good to go. Yeah, perfect. I mean, it's almost half the JP. I just don't like that JP Morgan's down. 68, we need what, 33? Happy vibe, bro. What a good guy. What's half of 130? 86? 70? No, 65. Yeah. Come. 130, 190. Oh, come on. This is what we got. All right. 442. We need 221. All right, that's it, bro. I even got rid of them before y'all even got time to react. I know. Beautiful. All right, 200K. Fuck. No, 216. Yeah. Okay, thank God. Yeah, 216. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So this is the bad part is that we have the money, but now I have 33K in gains. That I don't like. So I can either try to gamble it all away now to reduce it, or we just wait now. So now I could hold the rest of here. It's not going to fluctuate too much because now it's a limited amount. But then I have the, what's it called? I do have the, I have the money. I have enough money. So by tomorrow, my minimum amount that I aimed for, it will be settled, ready to go. So there you go. And then anything else, if they fuck me on the loan and we need to put up more, then these guys have to go. The other 68K. That's crazy. There's still, no. How much is left? I don't even know how much is left. 26K? All right. Yeah, 26. No, there's still like 50, 60K. China wants to strengthen cooperation with UN. PGNY. Yeah, I see the China report. Okay, starting to bounce back up again. We're going back to VWAP, MU, and Intel. Intel's really running. It's really happening, bro. I mean, I've sold off about like 200K. So we got the other like 60K just sitting there. And then we'll find out. I will find out later today, tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow's middle of the week. Like I said, I mean, there is an option where I could close tomorrow. So at the end of the day, I've given myself some runway. And now we're really good. We're good to go. I don't know if I'm going to stop my monthly deposit. We talked about this last night. We're gonna start it. I think I'll pause it for like 1 month, and then we'll see. We'll just go from there. But I do plan on saving still, even though I will have to pay the mortgage. I do plan on adding to the long term, saving 10%. That's what we do. And then the 2 small accounts have been untouched, unless you want me to buy another house. I was going to, honestly, I was gonna buy a cheaper one with like a $20,000 down payment, and I was just gonna show you guys out of pocket. RCL? No, I didn't see it. I think it might be oil. No, you're got that. That was just dumping. Is Trump live yet? I have the video, and we had the earlier quotes, but I see if he's not on yet. Buy a cheap house. I did it before though. You guys I have given you a lot of examples. This is why I have to sell the long term. I just think people forget about them, and they don't take this. Now is going to be real, because now we're using the long term. But if you remember in 2021, 2022, I had a phone call with Lending Tips, and I gave you guys a live tutorial on getting a loan for non-QM. And I showed you guys, and we called it, and that was a time I bought a cheap house in Ohio. And that house was like 10K, 15K, and that property would have made you like 150. So I've done it a couple times. I even did the same thing I'm doing now with Bitcoin, but I think now this one's going to have a different example. So I do want to. I really, really want to. Boeing's on the low. So again, Boeing was pretty hot yesterday, but now that's kind of flipping. Boeing was trying to go up. SPY back to VWAP. Apple is moving. Hold on. Yo, Apple and then DuPont. Yeah, Apple's really, really running. I don't know what he's saying. June labor market expectations improved. Households more optimistic in June on personal financings. New York Fed 5-year inflation unchanged at 2.6. Home price unchanged at 3. 3-year unchanged at 3. And then 1 year ahead inflation dropped to 3.0 from 3.2. So literally the Fed inflation expectations came in bullish. Ta-da! Where is a Mr. Trumpet? Love on the high. No Intel news, no. I just sold it yesterday. Oil's still going up. That was part of the other themes here today, too. What time is it? We got 30 minutes till Euro close. And then MU and AMD all day. June labor market expectations improved. I don't want to sell the small account. That's what I said. That one I think is very inspiring and it's realistic. That's all I'm saying. It's just like the small account, bro. If you met me and put $200 a minimum into an account, you would have a down payment right now. That's all. The other one, you could have said, oh, I don't have that much money. I don't have this. I don't have that. And you would have been able to justify not doing it. But the small account, there's no excuse. That one's never going to sell, and you're going to watch where that one goes to. And if I do buy a house with it, I'll just go out of pocket because it's 20K. You know, this house, I just stumbled upon a deal, and it worked for the cult. So it all worked. The Lord will provide. Amen. I was telling y'all. So, amen. Myrna, I've seen that too. You guys are asking about Pfizer as well. I don't think you should build a house for your first one. So if you've never owned a home, you should not be building your first one. It's just too much risk, too much work, different funding, harder to get the capital. So I think buy a house first and then get into development after you get some experience. Yeah, NVIDIA have fortune. Isn't that crazy? Treasury says to increase T-bill issuance. Oh, shit. Yeah, no one's saying that. Holy fuck. Bro. Bessent's fucking doing the yelling. He's terming out the debt. Boeing order numbers just came in. 116 orders of 737 MAX, including 54 and 62 787s. So I put Baba, I meant Boeing. Boeing order numbers coming out right now. No, you could remodel your first house, but I mean like buying land and developing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, you're going to remodel a home or you'll learn how to do little work on it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about buying land and then developing, getting permits, building a property. If you've never done that before and you've never spent the money to buy a house, that shouldn't be your first deal. A robust Iran nuclear deal that guarantees European security interests must be concluded. French source. All right, SPY back up. So again, Trump comments on the deadline. You got a little bit of a freak out, some more than others. Now you're getting Boeing numbers, Apple ripped, and you're right back at open. Treasury says it does not expect to issue cash management bills to rebuild balance. Yeah, bro, they're terming out the debt. So Bessent's copying Yellen. So Yellen did a really dumb thing, and she sold a bunch of high interest short-term debt that matures in the next, like, very soon. And that way it funded all of the Biden shit, but it was at a very bad price, and it left the next guy with the problem. So now that's what we're dealing with, right? So instead of handling the problem, because obviously they're giving Bessent and Trump some issues, Bessent's now going to do exactly what Yellen did. And instead of now relying on the long end and trying to get this, he's just going to start selling short-term debt to pay for everything and then leave it to the next guy. Why would he do this? Because the bond vigilantes and people, they're not playing favorable, let alone the Fed. The Fed's not being favorable, the media, the bond vigilantes, so they're getting their money and they're punting the effect down the line because people aren't willing to work with them. That's how I would interpret it. That's just my opinion. So I don't know if that's fact or not, but that's how if you're asking me why he would do it, I think because when Janet Yellen did it, I thought she was a dumbass. So I would say Scott Bessent's a dumbass, but in this case, I think it's because he's just finding a way to get what he wants. No, he has a choice, but he's just playing a game of chicken with them. It's kind of like, again, if you don't, he's saying, if you're not going to give me room, I'm doing this. So you could either help us or not, but this is how we're going to do it. I mean, it kind of is Operation Twist to a degree. You know, they're about to go and sell off a bunch of short-term. I don't know if he's going to buy the long end. If he bought the long end, then it would be Operation Twist. And he kind of is buying the long end. We heard that recently. But for now, it's half of Operation Twist. If he starts announcing buying the long end and yield curve control on the back end, then yeah, then you have it. I don't think he's concerned with the trade deals. I think he's like, if it was me, I would be concerned with bond vigilantes and Powell, because that's it. Because just like I told you guys this morning, last time Powell cut rates, the long end went up 100 basis points. So if I need to fund trillions of dollars, that's not going to work. I need a favorable Powell, and even if he's favorable, the other situation with the vigilantes and everybody else in the media, that could still fuck up my goal. So you see, that's why I'm like, I think he's just going to pay the high interest on the short term, get the money, and then now the next guy deals with it, or Powell will respond, or the bond vigilantes will change their tune and be like, well, fuck, now they have the fiscal juice, and now there's no impact on the long end of the curve. They may start to buy it, because then they could anticipate Powell following suit. So that's just, again, this is all my opinion. I'm just telling you. But what I am noticing is that headline came out. Again, it says what was it? Let me read you the quote. Treasury said to increase T-bill issuance, specifically 4, 6, and 8-week bills. So that right there is what they're saying. That caught my attention, and that's why we're having this discussion. morning. Yeah, Tesla still too. And then healthcare is a fucking behemoth today. We better not back out of the tariffs. I agree. It's weird, bro. Like I said, I just think the narratives is we got to see what happens with the economy. Wait, because now it's went from being worried about what's going to happen to now we have to wait and see the results. But I don't like the bill, you guys. I've said it from I've said this for a long time, and I'm glad that I have, because like I'm telling you, unfortunately, it all boils down to government spending. I've said this before. I don't care if it was Trump or anybody. I hope you guys could respect that, because government demand is now through the roof. And if government demand is going to stay up, I mean, that's it's just, I think the narrative, before you know it, they're going to start pumping growth, and who cares about everything else? Watch, you'll see. That's what they did. I mean, even it worked under Biden too. Just eventually they spent enough, have everybody look left while they're going right, and then right again, transitory. And then right as it's not transitory, you hit them with another narrative. And that's what is probably going to happen here if it doesn't work. You get what I'm saying? I'm spitballing, you guys. I hope you hear me. Some of you get mad about trying to forecast what's going to happen, but I hope you see how I'm trying to make you money. I'm trying to see what's going to happen. And that's why I'm like, you got to really think about it. Because at this point now, if this shit doesn't work with Trump, tariffs, the bill, they're just going to start saying growth, 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 growth. Look, growth. Who cares about inflation? And I don't like that. I don't agree with that. That's why I'm telling you this. That's why I said this all in advance. But that's kind of what we're shaping up for now, is that now we have to see the results, and whatever effect it causes, just welcome to politics. These motherfuckers are going to parade it around like they did a good job no matter what happens. So get ready for it. And it has two routes. It's either growth or it's not. It's either inflation or it's not. And we'll find out. So, yalla. Trump to attend Club World Cup final on Sunday. And then Rolls-Royce in Deuceport launch CO2 neutral self-sufficient energy terminal. Yo, where's Trump, bro? So yeah, this cabinet meeting was supposed to be on, but I don't see him. UPS on the high, and then AAP. A lot. No, gold, you know the answer, actually. Why would gold be dropping today? We already talked about it, but we didn't mention gold. But we talked about it, if you really think about it. Let's get rich off inflation 2.0. I don't know. That's why it could happen, but it's way different than last time. That's why, like, the bill, how it's setting up, the tariffs, the direct payments, all of that is different. It's possible, and that could be on the cards, but I can't guarantee it like I did 4 or 5 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago, I knew what was going to happen. I mean, let's go watch the video from 5 years ago. See how many Chads you changed your life off of that. I think we could have that situation, but it's not as clear as it was 4 or 5 years ago. I think gold could be going down because of the Aussies, central banks. So think about it. If all of these central banks start going back to just doing whatever they want, JCI on the low, kind of flushing, then, like, think about it. If central banks aren't cutting rates, and now they're not using gold as the intermediary to hold, well, I mean, gold could come down. I mean, think about it now. Now you have places no longer cutting rates, because that was part of it. I showed you guys the chart not too long ago. Let me pull it up. This is what I'm saying. And remember, you had another central bank start to diverge today. But let me show you. Yeah, you guys don't think this was weird? I showed you this. And I said this is odd. This is why some of you defending Powell, I think you are too much in your own little world. Because if you actually look at the world, this is weird. Everybody is cutting rates right now like it's fucking COVID, except for us. But now, like I'm saying, that could be influencing gold. And then now you start to get other central banks start to slow down. Maybe that changes it. But last time you saw global central banks cut like this, it was COVID. So take that how you please. But that did have a gold effect. Isn't that the point of MMT? Yes. The point of MMT is that deficits and shit doesn't matter as long as you keep growing and spending and you facilitate it. But then again, motherfuckers who have warned against the dangers of MMT, precisely this is what happens. Look at China, deflation, even Japan. There is a point where it could run out, and that's scary. It's actually terrifying. I think it's probably one of the most terrifying things out there. Now you're about to get Josh tell you why deflation is terrifying, but I've said this for well over half a decade now. But yeah, it is the point of MMT. But if it doesn't work and it starts to not have the cohesion, and God forbid you spend and do all of this, but now the demand doesn't work with it, then yeah, you have a really big problem. Like you have a major problem, and you have a problem that I would argue most people have never seen or are prepared for, just because that's the reality of it. You know, most people, they don't think it's going to happen, or they don't, you know, we've lived a nice, comfortable life without it. I'm not guaranteeing that it will happen. I'm just saying, though, if it did, you know, you got to be aware of it. Parago on the highest. Healthcare, we saw it move the other day. Are we hurting the global economy? No, we helped everybody. You made the U.S. kind of its own little carry trade. Everybody got the front run. No, that's why I said it's all a fucking joke, dude. That's why I'm like, shame on a lot of people, even yesterday. Like, just, and not you guys, like the media. They are just failing to disclose, like, very pertinent pieces of info that really changes how you would view all of this. One of them is the currencies. That's what I've been saying. Like, dude, the dollar's down 10%. We've had all these moves. Everyone freaked out about Japan yesterday. Literally, since Donald Trump put in tariffs, the price to export a car from Japan has plummeted 10-15%. Why? Because their currency is weak. Everybody will tell you everything about the trade deal, everything about a letter, but they won't tell you this. Why not? So, and that's real. This is facts. It was even brought up during a congressional meeting. This isn't like it's really deep, and that's the problem. It's a complex thing, but we all want to, you know, simplify it to be scared or be bullish, but it's deeper than rap, you know. And gold is ripping. You'd recommend another channel? Well, I recommend you don't recommend channels in here. Yeah, you know, because I see a lot of recommendations, but everywhere I look, I don't see people recommending me. So, and that's okay. I have God on my side. That's why we're still here. But I don't want this to be a marketplace, and you should know that. That is a rule that everybody is aware of. I think it's in writing too. So thank you. Oh wait, I need to I'm gonna time you out. I banned you actually. So I need to unhide you. But do it again, you're gonna be banned. Oh, I banned you again. Fuck. Time out. Yeah, I didn't even know other channels existed outside of here. So that's news to me. You tell everyone about the trading fraternity, they don't listen. You guys need to get long terms then. If you have a long-term and show them that account, they will listen to you. If you do not, I wouldn't even listen to you. Let's be real. That's why the guys who get mad at me every morning and they say they've been here for 5 years, they really weren't, because they would have made money and they wouldn't have been mad. So it makes a lot of sense, bro. Telling you, I know people, bro, I've made them so much fucking money and they disagree with everything I say, and they're so happy to see me. Do you not get it? That's been my whole life, bro. You know how many, do you think listen to me, I'm not an agreeable person. Dude, I have given people stuff, and usually they're like, you know what? Dude's a little weird. He looks like a lizard, but fuck, he just handed me that at $90, so I think I could overlook it. So yeah, that's it. That's what you got to do. And if you want people to listen to you, you show them the fruit. Very simple. You get if you don't have the fruit, though, I'm not even gonna listen to you. If you don't have a long term, why would I even listen? Very simple. Very simple. We need long terms. Long terms everywhere. And property. And cribs. Woo! If you can't pay yourself, then I wouldn't put my trust in you. Well, that's the thing, though. I love it if you guys tell people, but I'm here for those of you who want to be here. Again, a lot of you guys just got to realize, I'd say about 30% of the Chad, they all just want to be stock YouTubers and traders too. So keep that in mind. But some of you are here to better yourself and genuinely, and I'm here for you. Everybody else, fuck you. And that's why I'm saying, like, you got to, your job isn't to really convince anybody. You see what I'm saying? So I do think you can't help other people if you don't help yourself first. And you do have to make sure. So, you know, I don't want you guys, I'm not putting you out here to go promote and waste your time trying to convert people. You know, I don't even do that with religion, bro. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you should be fully locked into the mission of bettering yourself then. So don't tell me you're not promoting, but then don't tell me you're not doing the long term. You see what I'm saying? And so you shouldn't be wasting your time trying to convince everybody. You don't have to. Fuck that. But at the same time, if you're doing nothing, oh, then I'm going to get really mad. You should be doing one or the other then. But then again, you shouldn't be promoting if you don't have anything to show for it. So you see what I'm saying? It's kind of full circle, but get it where you fit in and be here to really be here. And like I'm saying, at the right time, you guys will all be your beacon and light, and you got to grow and you got to put in the work too. But you got to know what you're here for and live in it, bro. That's it. I made a crib while listening. Amen. Yeah, I can't wait to make some farming videos. Say your piece and leave in peace. Amen. Amen. If I sell losses on my long term after 10 years, I'm not selling anything. Would that be a future tax benefit? Yes, just how you saw. Because then when you sell your long term gains, you're going to write it off. So I just showed it in front of you guys. I took way more money. I pulled out $200K right now, and I was left with a $10,000, $13,000 tax liability. That's amazing, because I had $30K of losses to run up as a runway with the other gains. You see? So that's the idea. That's why you don't remember a couple years. I remember the first time I did the tax sale, people were like tripping, and they're like, why? And then again, how many times have people asked me why I still hold BigCommerce? Or people asked me, why do I still have a loss? Why don't I just sell it and move the money? How many times have you heard that? This is exactly why. Because there's actually a real purpose. And like I'm saying, it's turning into taxes. That's all. It sucks to lose. You like to win, but they have a purpose. And that's what I'm saying. Those losses all served our purpose to help us when we needed the money for the property. And when it's time to move, if you follow the 10-year rule, all of your losses are going to balance out and help you because if you do stick with it and you did make more money, those losses are all your prepaid taxes. That's it. Oh, doubters, haters, always, but I'm an example of listening. Oh, let's go. And he got the house. Tell him SRT. From day one, look at that, bro. Everybody, man, I love it. He said last year, that's a 5-year badge too. Amen, bro. And it all takes time. And if you do it faithfully, bro, amen, bro. God bless. God, praise God. Oil ripping again. Again, Google's been dropping on that whole little rant. I had it up here if you haven't been watching. Yeah, I explained it, but now I showed you guys. You guys got to see it. I'll leave all of these videos up. You watched me sell in real time. I'm showing you literally how to buy a property. That's what I'm saying. This is what it's going to do. This is what all of you guys are going to do when it's time to buy your house. You're going to contact your agent. You're going to get in. You're going to find the property. You're going to put in the offer. You're going to go to inspections. You're going to do all of that. Then you're going to pull contingencies. You got to put down the deposit. And then and again, it seems like a lot. That's what I was always telling you. Your first house is going to be terrifying. It's going to feel like so much work. It's going to be scary. You're selling. You're doing. It's going to be terrifying, bro. But this is normal. It's literally like losing your virginity. It's your house virginity. You see what I'm saying? And then you go, you start moving through it, and then you're going to sell off and wire it to the account. You're going to have your taxes, and you're getting to see this is the exact process. All the way down, we wire it out, and then boom. The next video after the account goes down, next video, I'm going to be at a house. And there you go. But this is the exact process you would all be doing. This is how it would look. From even holding your losses for years, selling them. You sell them first, you'll know your tax balance. Then you could go through on the gains. You have your time frame. You have your close date. You get it all out, and then you move it. And then this is what you are going to do. So pretty cool to see, bro. And I hope this is a good example for you all. But yeah, this is your process. Amen. And it's going to be scary, but you know, may there be blessings, and may it open up many more doors. Kaplan will replace Besant at G20. Elf dropping decently, actually. Where's China? You didn't feel any anxiety or apprehension when I lost my virginity? Yeah, because that was a dude. I'm sorry. You were just flexing the virginity. I had to drop a joke. So forgive me, but that was a good setup. I'm just... All right, I will go to the bathroom. Follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. Real Code News on Twitter. And we should do a push-up too. So yeah, it works. Stand up a little bit. Woo! Oh, wait, where's my propaganda? Propaganda! No propaganda. How come? Oh, man. I mean, shit, bro. I was just trying to give you a good analogy. So, but either way, I'm really excited. And I hope you guys see it, though. I hope this reduces the fear when you do it. That's why. I hope when you see this, I hope you guys don't have the same apprehension. And I hope you know it's normal. Like, you know, you're going to feel emotions. This is the biggest financial transaction of most people's lives. You guys know that? Your house is going to be the most expensive thing you ever buy. So imagine the time, the work, the loans, the selling, the moving, all of this stuff, bro. It's a very big commitment. And it's a very, it's like big. So, yeah, that's why I'm like, I hope you see it. It's going to feel unnatural, but it's very, very natural. Okay, Spy even coming back down. I still do need to go potty, though. I haven't taken a potty break today.
That's down to...
Nice. All right.
When it's hot and demand grows, power prices rise, benefiting those generators. Now, for regulated utilities that own generation and distribution, it's more complicated. But companies that have usage-based models are the ones to watch. That's CMS Energy, DTE Energy, WEC Energy, and Alliant Energy. Since while power prices are fixed, if more is sold, they keep the extra, which positively impacts their net income. Now, longer term, extreme weather is also helping make the case for grid investment, which is good for the sector's capex plans overall. But in the meantime, consumers are the ones losing out. Utility bills are rising faster than overall inflation, and the 2025 summer cooling season is set to put Americans back $784 on average, the highest in more than a decade when adjusted for inflation. Guys, I know that my AC is definitely working overtime right now.
Absolutely. I was just thinking about that, to your point about the overtime. I mean, there's a lot of discussion about the grid in general, what it can handle with all of the things we're taxing with. Any concerns there for any of the utilities in particular?
Yeah, so we are seeing demand growth here for the first time in more than 2 decades. And so that is straining a system that is built to operate during those times of peak demand. And one really important point here to note is that PJM, during the June heat wave, PJM is the largest grid operator in the U.S. They saw a record peak demand of 160 gigawatts between 5 and 6 p.m. That was higher than their forecasted peak demand for next year, which shows you just how fast it is growing. And of course, from the utility standpoint, even if they're not necessarily benefiting from higher power prices, they do benefit from that higher volume sold, because then that makes the case to their PUC that their customer base is growing, their demand is growing, and so then that allows them to invest in new infrastructure, which is how they earn a rate of return on that capex. And then, of course, you add in things like data centers, electrification, and reshoring, and then just power demand is set to grow here, and it's a huge constraint that all these companies are trying to figure out while not placing an unnecessary burden on consumers.
I know I get those text messages warning me about the heat wave and trying to conserve energy, and I want to, but also it's very hot, so I also want to run the AC. Thank you very much, Pippa. Well, it's now time for a news update. Silvana Henao has that for us. Hi, Silvana.
Hey, Courtney, good morning to you. The number of people killed by devastating floods in Kerr County, Texas over the holiday weekend has now risen to 87, including 30 children. The vast majority of Texas, more than 100 flooding deaths, are from the county where the Guadalupe River swelled more than 26 feet in less than an hour Friday morning. Officials said moments ago there are still 5 campers and 1 counselor missing from Camp Mystic. An imposter using an AI-generated voice to impersonate Secretary of State Marco Rubio contacted 3 foreign ministers and 2 U.S. politicians. That's according to NBC News, which said the AI impersonator reached out to the ministers, a governor, and a member of Congress in mid-June through the Signal app. And the days of taking off your shoes to go through security are over. Well, at least at some airports. A source tells NBC News the TSA will now allow passengers at select airports to keep their footwear on. The source also said the change could expand nationwide very soon.
Yeah, I tweeted the Marco Rubio.
Anything to make flying easier.
For sure, yeah.
Silvana, that's for sure. Thank you, Silvana Henao. When we come back, companies with gig economy workers like Uber and Lyft could get a big boost from this new bill in Congress. We'll get some details after a quick break.
Crypto Watch is sponsored by Crypto.com.
By Crypto.com.
I remember, bro. I had a bad experience once. I was going to the Bay. I remember I was going to San Fran, and then I'm at the airport and I take off my shoes, and then tell me why my girlfriend just starts laughing at me, and she's like, "Why you wear shoes? Why you wear socks with holes in it?" And I was like, "I'm not." And then I look at my feet and my socks got a bunch of holes in it. So now I'm just barefoot on this fucking airport, and everybody just laughing at me too. And I'm like, you all think that's funny? You all think that's funny, huh? Fuck y'all. So I'm glad now. This is my liberation. Nah, bro, haters. Athlete's foot breeding grounds? Oh, wow. Always flip at the airport? So you're just barefooting it then? I don't know. I did that on 4th of July though. I was a real hippie, bro. I was like walking in the stores barefoot and shit. I was enjoying my time. I was like, yeah, dude. What? fashion like a jeans. You like a jeans, Habibi? Pfizer, alright. I'm seeing with LT. He hasn't got me numbers back. He's just getting me tax numbers because I told him I'm pissed. Because I'm like, what do you mean, bro? Why? If I was like, if you get me my 200, if they get it to me at the low down payment, bro, like, easy. There's very small tax benefit or tax obligation. But now, if we have to sell all of this or most of it, I'm like, dude, I don't want to pay taxes on when we shouldn't have. And then he's trying to tell me, though, all of the tax write-offs from the property, he said it's going to make more money or it'll net it out. So either way, like, there's ways to, this is why you need a tax guy, but at the end of the day, this is the nitty gritty of when it comes time to sell. This is the part I feel like nobody talks about in trading. Nobody talks about the taxes, whether you're trading or long-term. That's what I've done this every year. I always tell you guys to go get a tax professional. You guys have heard many times about, if I have a good trading year, I start taking losses, I start doing shit. So I don't know, man. I do think some people got to get familiar with this, but it's crazy that this has the real world effect on you more than everything, because the numbers are good and the numbers are great and all of that, but when it's all said and done, like, if you got to pay half of it in taxes or you got to do this, you know, it's like, come on, Habibi. How many years? I usually do 30-year mortgages, so I'm a big fan of the 30-year. I do have a couple of 15 years if they're cheaper, but, and then depending on the rate, but yeah, usually 30 years. The 3,000 write-off, that's why I showed you guys what I showed you today, because most people, they don't, if you do it how I showed you, I just took 30K of write-offs right in front of your eyes. You guys realize that, right? So even though the max is 3K, I still just showed you how I got 30K of it. So that's the only other strategy. Or you have trader tax status, and then you could do a broader set of write-offs related to trades. Yeah, you should go on Yelp in your area and call them and then ask them if they have familiarity with trading or whatever you do. And a good tax professional will ask to look at your filings, and they'll tell you whether or not they could help you. Without charging you, they'll say, let me see it, and I'll let you know how much I could save or what I could do. And that, if they're willing to do that, that's a good tax guy. I did this live on air before. And I called random tax people. I just showed you guys a Google, and the good ones will always tell you, send it over, and then let me see what you're doing, tell me your goals and all that, and then they'll let you know what is possible. No, short-term gains, you could use, again, trader tax status. That's where you could get a benefit. But no matter what, you have limits. And then what I showed you is a big part that applies no matter what. Short-term, long-term, by utilizing losses strategically and just realizing them at the same time, you could get a way bigger dollar effect or benefit. But yeah, you could write off short term, but you have to use short term. And then again, if you are trader tax status, you get way more benefits. But then you have to apply for that, qualify, and actually be like trading a lot. Not everybody gets trader tax status. You'll do 20. Well, that's the beauty. 25 to 30 years isn't really a big difference. Mostly it's like you either do 15 or 30. But like the 5-year, that one, and that there might be like a variable rate or something, or maybe he's refinancing. People will do that if they are paid 5 years and then they refi to a 25-year instead of refi to another 30. But yeah, that's interesting. I am trader tax status. I am just showing you an example, assuming I'm not. I'm trying to give you guys a real life example. I'm just showing you my tax data as it shows on the account, and what I'm expecting. So again, I'm probably going to walk away with the tax liability, but given the real estate and my trader tax status and what I'm doing, I'm going to find a way around it. But at the end of the day, I do have that. I'm just showing you guys a normal version. This is for the general population in public who you saved, you don't have anything special. This is exactly what it's going to look like and what you will do. Then apparently you did not have a good guy. You probably didn't. Because think about it. When it comes to taxes, you have to let them know what you do and what you want to do, right? And then they'll give you some ideas, but they can't tell you what is going to happen until they see your numbers and how much work they're going to have to do and what is possible. So if somebody just says, give me $500, I'll do your taxes, they're not really like looking at your shit. You know what I'm saying? They're just trying to get a client, get a fee, but they're going to probably just do some TurboTax type work. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. They're just charging you without really seeing it, because everybody's taxes are completely different. Everybody's taxes, depending on what you're doing, how you generate your money, where you generate your money, and then again, especially with trading and other stuff, oh dude, it's gonna be wildly different. So somebody giving you like a universal price and a universal set of work, it's not gonna really be as optimal as, you know, something more custom when it comes down to taxes. So yeah. But oil's been going all day. Exactly. A good accountant will ask to see before price, because they can't give you a price without seeing it. And if they're just giving you a price before seeing it, I don't really trust their work, if that makes sense. That would be like somebody telling you they're going to remodel your whole entire house without seeing it. You'd be like, what do you mean? And they're like, 50,000. I'm like, this is an 80,000 square foot home. 50,000. It's a 2,000 square foot home. 50,000. What? Okay. I guess. You don't want to look at it? You don't want to walk inside? You don't want to anything? No? Okay. VG on the high. Venture Global getting big volume. Again, we haven't even had any crazy pops, the latest headlines. I think we're still waiting on that cabinet meeting, no? Yeah, bro, I still have a live video from an hour ago. It hasn't even played yet, but there is. There's supposed to be that video. So yeah, we still got Trump expected. He was supposed to be on an hour, but now they're delaying. Intel up 5. Well, that's ironically, I'm not mad about selling and the stocks going up because I've already got rid of my losses. So in a weird way, any of those gains, I would get a little bit more money back, but then technically I'm giving up half of it to taxes. Bro, I'm telling you though, this is where the trading game gets absolutely batshit, you guys. Once you start really working in taxes, like in a strategic way, your mind is gonna get blown, bro. Because it's so dumb. It is so dumb. Because, like, think about it. Intel went up 5%, but, like, I don't care. You know why? Because it would have cost me money. I would have got back half. I would have got back less than 2%. And then if it went down, I could have benefited more off the losses, but then it's still like, what would you have tripped about? So given I have a different purpose than holding right now, it doesn't even matter, which is kind of wild. You think they closed the press? Oh, maybe. That would make sense. Because it was an hour ago. We'll probably start it at the end and with a delay, and then we'll probably start getting headlines in like 10 minutes maybe. At this point, losses would benefit me more than a gain. Ideally, if I could equate my losses to lower the gains and still get my down payment, that would be the most ideal. That's why it's very odd when you think about it. You're not really used to people who are like, damn, I wish I lost more money. You know, oh man, 5% up that actually hurts me for my objective. It's like, it's really weird. It's really, really weird, but that's when it goes from the market to real life. No, this doesn't matter where you move to. This is not income. This is capital gains. This is a gain. So this has nothing to do with your job and generating income in that state. So all of you will have to do this. I'm telling you, I think it's very good info, and most people don't talk about it, and you guys just got to watch it live, and it's stuff I've told you about, but now you guys got to see it in a cool way, and I can't wait till you get to come to the farm. So yeah, God willing. Well, there is a lot to read up on, but this is the beauty. This is what I've been trying to encourage a lot of you guys. Get familiar with it now. Start saving now, start shopping, start growing, and get the tax professional. Because maybe you don't find your house this year. That's okay, bro. I'm not trying to make you all buy a house and be a dumbass about it. So, but as long as you get ahead of this, all of this stuff is going to happen easier. Again, you're not going to be as scared when it comes time to sell. You're not going to be as shocked or left with something you didn't know about. All preparation. And the more you're prepared with something this big, bro, you're going to be able to stand in authority on it and move in it a lot easier than some people have. So just get prepared, bro. You'll be fine, man. A lot to read up on, but the good thing is if you're doing it early with time, you're doing better than me, because I didn't know this stuff, you guys. When I started, nobody taught me this. I had to learn this. I had to learn through failure. My little Egyptian family, nobody shared this with me. I had to learn a very, very hard way about all of this stuff. So that's why I encourage you to get prepared now, and actually don't be afraid of it. I know it's a weird topic. You get intimidated, but embrace it, bro, and it's going to save you and help your life out a lot. Bipartisan efforts to repeal gambling tax. Oh, I sold DraftKings. Yo! Bro, this dog just came in here and threw up on my carpet and then just left. The fuck? All right, please hold. I hate smells, and it smells in here. Oil is spiking, but this time the market. A couple of staples like CLX too. Oof.
The mind. But today on smartphones, we just keep doom scrolling, and we wanted to create a product that help people be more in focus, right? So if you put the phone down, you can still be notified about the most important things that are happening without always checking your screen. I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes when I have to respond to an important message, I just happen to go into my social media and scroll a bit afterwards.
Yeah, so it's keeping you engaged in the process. What's interesting is, well, it looks like nothing else really on the market. People have loved that. The geeks in particular have loved that. But what sort of scale are you getting to now? Who is buying this?
Yeah, so we're targeting a very different consumer base. As a startup, we're really focused on our users, the young creatives. Today, this year we're doing about $1 billion in revenue. Last year we did north of 500 million, so we're doubling this year. It's a good start, but a long way to go.
What are they trading in for? Because this is Android operating system. Are people ditching their Samsungs? Are they ditching their Apples? What are they doing?
Yeah, our users come from all over the industry. Actually, we have two types of products. We have earbuds and smartphones. For our earbuds, more than half of the users come from iPhone, which is really surprising to us. And our phones come from all over the market. But we do see a lot of iPhone users switching to us.
Where are these being made?
We manufacture most of our phones in India, but we also have a site in China, and we have a new site coming up soon as well.
Where would that be?
It's to be announced. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Because you're a man you've built companies before. Boy, have you built well over in China. You sort of stuck in really in the Chinese smartphone industry yourself. And now we're seeing this pushback in America in particular, of manufacturing in the United States. What do you make of that ability, that capability to get the scale, the talent here in the US?
It's not something that we thought about a lot, because we've been really focused on markets like Europe and India, and we're manufacturing in India. Recently, we just started exploring how to export from India to the rest of the world. With the Phone 3, actually, we're exporting from India to the US.
How hard is that with tariffs?
It's okay. I mean, I don't think the tariffs are that bad from India.
Okay, so you don't think that a little bit of a hit to what is a more expensive version of the phones that you're now having? What is it, $799 is the price?
He had to pause. He's like, can I say the truth?
Phone. Why go to that upscale level? You've been more of a mid-range kind of.
No. Don't you think it's really
We always
bad?
wanted to compete on the flagship level, but we had to build a lot of our capabilities because when we sell a product at $800, people expect the best camera,
I'll check
the best
TTD
screen,
right now.
the best of everything. And building a smartphone company is hard. Like all types of hardware is hard, but smartphones are particularly hard.
I see Motley
I think we finally got to a space where our engineering
price target raise on TTD,
is at the
nothing,
level where we can take a shot at the flagship.
Yeah,
you have
DraftKings
that
were
experience
peeling the
having helped build
gambling right before I
OnePlus.
left.
Now with
it got a volume,
nothing,
but didn't follow
how much
through
is
yet.
there now focused on the AI integration? Because that's where Apple seems to be stumbling.
Yeah, we're super excited about AI. We're not really focused on the large language models, but we're focused on how to apply AI. And I believe that to win in consumer AI, you need to own your own hardware. And for me, the smartphone is the most exciting piece of hardware because of two reasons. It's got the most scale, right? Because more than 1.2 billion smartphones are sold every year. And it's also got the most depth. In terms of what we do on our phones, we do everything. So I think consumer AI needs both scale and depth because we want to be able to really understand the users to then automate the smartphone use as much as possible for them.
To do all of that, and to get more manufacturing footprint,
Who's that guy
you
in
need
the
money.
background?
Are you raising money? What sort of scale do you need?
We raised about $250 million so far. We've been relatively capital efficient. We've done more than $1 billion in lifetime sales. We're doing $1 billion in.
You and everybody have done.
Oh, it's Donald Trump on the other video. Dude, that's why. I was like, what am I hearing? I was like, does this guy have a translator on Bloomberg?
President, I want to thank you for your leadership.
Yeah, it's the fucking president of the United States.
And the people of Texas are incredibly strong.
That's Mr.
They've
Donald
gone through
Trump.
something that is
Why is his hair so shiny today? Why does he have a heart part in his hair too? I'm sorry, I have a lot of questions. Why did you pass that bill? How come there was no pushback by everybody? Is it because they all got bribed?
Activated his emergency responders.
Why do we spend that much on weapons? I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna go. Let me.
And
yeah, this is your president.
Immediately worked with the local first responders to get help to individuals and get them evacuated. Put requests into me. We deployed, sir, right away, as you know, because you and I were talking a lot during this time. The Coast Guard. We also had some assets out of Customs and Border Protection. Our board TAC teams went in and helped with rescues and clearing debris so that we could get roads open and people get the help that they need. I think when I got there the most, sir, that day, as soon as I arrived on site, was getting a briefing from all the emergency responders, was just how unified they were in focusing on the fact that we're there to save lives. They were there to rescue people, find people who were still alive, and to reunify them with their family members. We as a federal government don't manage these disasters. The state does. We come in and support them, and that's exactly what we did here in this situation. FEMA went to an enhanced level immediately, but as soon as you signed the major disaster declaration, we were able to get them resources and dollars right away, just like you envisioned through state block grants, to help them with cleanup. And we're still there in presence, and FEMA's been deployed, and we're cutting through the paperwork of the old FEMA, streamlining it much like your vision of how FEMA should operate, and it's been a much better response to help these families get through this terrible situation. We still are looking for people. We're still looking for a lot of little girls and other family members.
A pre-tax 401k
that were camping
close
along
to zero.
That river.
Yes,
and
that sounds right.
They will continue
or
until
even
they find every
self-direct or
person,
IRA.
And we will continue to help
but yeah,
them and assist
because
in
there
that.
is tax
I was
benefits. So if you're
surprised when
doing
I
good
got
and you
there,
already have something set up
at
now,
the camp
and you
that
have other
day,
benefits, that
right
that tracks very well. Sounds like you got a good tax guy.
Were there,
that's good advice.
The parents that were looking for their children and picking up their daughter's stuffed animals out of the mud and finding their daughter's shoe that might be.
I'm going to show you guys something that's going to
and,
blow your mind after
just
this.
hugging and comforting
because the Texas thing was a tragedy.
I'm extremely grateful
and it's
for
actually like
God's
crazy
hand in that whole
historically. I'm going to show you a
hundreds and hundreds
historical
of people
sad
were saved.
fact, essentially.
And this is a time for all of us in this country to remember that we were created to serve each other. God created us to take care of each
Ask
other.
him about an
And that
IRA.
when we do that,
I don't
we
know
are
if you own
happier,
your company,
we
but
are,
you
more
probably do through the
fulfilled,
short-term
and
rentals.
we can walk
But
alongside
see if
people
an
on their
IRA
worst
has
day
more
and
benefits
help
for
them
you than a
get through it and come out
401k
the
or a
other
solo
side,
one. But that way, what he's
knowing,
saying is
that
it
we
does make
can-
sense.
that we can continue to live a life that God has purposed for us. So they're grateful for you. Several times the day after the flooding, you and Melania were on the phone with me, and I want to thank you
Like a
for that.
SCP IRA,
That meant
yep,
the world. I was
100%.
able to tell many of those folks
Because
that
because
I had
again,
been
it's
visiting
you're
with you,
if
and
you're
that you had
you
said
own the
whatever they
company,
need,
you get a
Christy,
benefit. The
let's
only
deploy it and
downside,
get it down
just
there
like the
and be helpful. And
401k,
on
here's the
Sunday,
downside.
when the
You're
families
gonna
were
get
waiting
the
at a
tax
church to
benefit.
identify
Some of them,
their
all the
children's
money you
bodies,
put in there will be a
Franklin
benefit.
Graham,
If you do it as an
and
IRA, I
called
think
in
you could
and
write off
prayed with
every
the families
deposit
and read
into
some
it.
scripture with
But now
them,
here's
and
the deal: you can't touch it
he
until
was
you're 50,
incredible in making
55
himself
years
available
old.
to that
That's
as
the
well.
only
We'll be back
caveat.
down there
So all of your
in a
tax
couple of
money
days
is going to
and,
go to retirement,
continue to
but
do
then
all
you
we
can't
can, but
use
this-
it. If you use it, you're
this
fucked.
is an unprecedented
that's
event.
the
It
catch.
really is.
So you could
there's
forego
been
the tax
tragedies like this around the
obligation,
country,
but you can't use the
everyone is
money
unique
for a long
in
amount
different
of time.
situations. And you know, the response the federal government had supporting the state through this, I'm proud of the people that stepped up and immediately came. The Coast Guard, when they came in,
If you're over
they had a
55,
difficult
that
time
could be
even getting
better
the
benefit
aircraft
for you.
in and landed.
I
They
don't.
had
I
to try
think that's
several
the
times in
loophole.
the weather to
Because
get
then,
it
if you
in
do it and you own
deploy,
a company,
I
and
think
then you
we've
do
heard
this
about,
IRA thing, let's
you
say
know,
you
our
do it at
one
age
Coast
50,
Guard member
and then
that
5 years later
was
you hit
responsible for
retirement, I
saving
think you
over
could pull it
165 people,
without
but
the
that
same
entire
thing.
crew
But
did
they
incredible
do.
work.
It's
And
usually
all the
like a
first
30-year
responders did
tie-up. That's what my
incredible
tax
work.
guy
And I know people are
told me.
getting tired
He gave
now,
me an
but,
option, and I did it
but
because I like long
getting
term. But I have one of
reinforcements,
those
and volunteers
IRAs
are
where
showing up.
I can't
And I just
touch
wanna
the
commend
money,
the governor
but it's
and his
all
team
tax free.
for being the leaders, and they're so thankful that you're letting them make the decisions and manage the response like it should be, and then us supporting them with the resources of the federal government. We've already deployed dollars to the state, much like the block grants that you've talked about.
Right.
So they're grateful for that, sir.
There's never been a wave like this outside of the breaking of a dam. Because this was almost a wave that ended up being 30 feet high, more actually. Now with the dam you can understand it, but this approached almost with that speed. When you see a dam break, it's not a pretty sight. It wipes out everything, and this is the kind of thing that built up so fast. And it's happened 2 or 3 times before over the years, but not to this extent. But tell them when you met the father who was picking up the daughter's clothing.
Honestly, it might be
and,
59, and there is a
where all the
difference
little
between
girls
traditional and Roth. So,
and-
like I'm
and
saying,
I had kind of fallen
get
apart in there,
advised
but
by
I
a
walked
tax
out of
person.
the cabin,
So
and a
I
gentleman
would
was
double
standing there,
check
and he
everything
said,
I've said. I could be incorrect.
That
Okay,
man
I don't
over
want
there
to
needs
make
a
any
hug.
of you guys have the wrong
And so I
info.
walked over to
but
him and I
just
hugged
know
him and I
this,
said,
I'm
"Do you
giving
work
you
here?"
like the general
And he said, "No, my
neighborhood.
little girl was in that
You
cabin."
got to follow up and double
And he
check
said,
the
"And I
details,
just found
like
her
the
best
dates,
friend
the 55,
about an hour and a half
59,
ago. She had passed
Roth,
away."
traditional,
And he
the
just fell
SCP,
apart.
all of
And
that.
so
You
then
got
we
to
just,
again. That's why I hope you have somebody
hugged and
who
talked
can
for probably an
advise you.
hour,
I could
about that,
verify
but then
and
there
double
was
check
another-
and make
the
sure it's
grandpa
good or
was
bad
there
in that
looking
sense.
for his
But
granddaughter
the nitty gritty
as well. There was
specifics,
a
I have
dad there
somebody
of one
do
of the
that for me.
counselors.
So you're gonna
The
need one
counselor
too.
was alive, but she was dealing with the fact that she had hung on to some of these girls and was trying to keep them out of the flood waters and had gotten hit by something and had
I think
lost
55 is the
two of the girls
traditional or
and wasn't able
401k.
to
That's
hang
what
on
I'm
to
saying.
them and was
There
going
is
to
a
live the rest of her
59
life
one
thinking
too,
about
where you can't pull out
that
till
moment
59.
when she wasn't able to hang on to these girls. But these parents were picking up their kids' belongings out of the mud and throughout the camp and putting them in bags, and then one of the dads said, "I knew 50 of these girls here." So I knew that was her dress and my daughter's friend's dress. So he was picking it up and putting it in a bag to return to her.
So they're talking. It's a tragedy, bro, and I hope you pray for him. And this is where it's like trippy. Are you guys ready for this? This is so weird. This blew my mind. This is why like history is just weird, bro. Are you ready? In 1987, the exact same thing happened in Texas at the Guadalupe River, bro.
Small town of Comfort, Texas, became the scene of a heroic rescue.
Isn't this crazy?
And
Look at
tragic
this.
loss.
This is from
Much of the footage
1987.
you will see was taped on that
Same
day.
thing. The lake,
By the banks
a
of the
church
Guadalupe
camp,
River.
all of it.
It was the day they
It's
were
almost
supposed to go
exactly
home.
what happened in
The more than
1987.
300 children at the
This
church
blew my
camp
mind.
were awakened early.
So sad.
The river was flooded.
This is the second time
If
it's
they
happened.
didn't leave soon, their buses might not be able to leave at all.
They come in there rushing us up and everything. telling us to get up.
Ironically, it sounds like they had a better warning in 1987.
They said we got to get out of here because the river was flowing over.
And we started going around the corner. We would go down the hill, then water started coming in the bus and stuff. We tried to back up, but then the bus got stuck, so they made all of us get out of the bus.
And that's whenever the first wave hit us and started scattering people to different trees.
Kids clinging onto the trees like ants, surrounded by rushing water.
Chris Ray was the first to be rescued.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
How many are there of you? There's the backhoe window, 40.
No, it's super weird.
How many? 40? In the bus?
Yeah, so I don't know. Everyone's talking about it, and I was like, dude, it's a freak accident. I'm like, dude, it's happened before. And then DraftKings getting followed
what
through.
happens. The president goes and everyone's around focused on. I don't want anyone to focus on us, but it's possible they could have somebody saved still. You know, there's a lot of areas. It's a big area, and probably unlikely at this point, but there could be. I mean, they're thinking there could be the possibility, but what a tragic situation. A good job, and we'll see you on Friday, and we'll finish out the day here. I think you've been reading a lot about, it's a terrible topic when you talk about financial after this, but we have a big country and we've been doing very well. The tariffs, as you know, are starting to come in at record levels. Tremendous amounts of money are coming in to our country. We never did that before. We're not used to it. We only have tariffs going out. We only adhere to the rules of other nations who charge us tremendous tariffs because we were led by stupid people or people without any business sense. And I'd like to ask Scott, you could maybe talk a little bit about how well we're doing with regard to the money coming in. And the big money will start coming in on August 1st. I think it was made clear today
BKTX still,
the
and then
letters that were sent
Marriott.
out yesterday and today. Go ahead, Chris.
Yes, sir. We will have taken in about $100 billion in tariff income thus far this year, and that's with the tariff, the major tariff not having started till the second quarter. So we could expect that could be well over $300 billion by the end of the year. We don't agree with CBO scoring, but for those who do, the CBO scored tariff income over the next 10 years at $2.8 trillion, which we think is probably
really
low. And sir,
I
under
didn't know
your
that.
leadership, we're witnessing.
That's good.
They gave us no credit
because the CBO is a bitch.
Little,
so if they're
the
even
great, big,
forecasting
beautiful
the revenue generation,
I always
I'll
use
take
the
it as
word
more
great.
positive.
I add that to it because it really is what it is. It's never been anything like it, actually. And I want to thank all the Republicans that voted for it. And I want to, scold the Democrats because they're voting for tax cuts. They're voting for no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, and many, many other things far more important than that.
Yeah, and then voting on no
Great
change
healthcare.
in regulation for AI for 10
and
years.
frankly,
voting
every
on
Democrat should lose their
incentivizing
election
gambling on
because it was
prediction
purely
markets,
political vote. They were told not
voting
to vote
on
for it. So
even
think of it, we
more
got
crazy
218
spending to
to
the
2.
black hole of the Pentagon.
And then with the
So,
Senate,
yeah,
we
but
had 50 to 3.
shit.
Democrats didn't vote at all, not one positive vote, with all of the good things in there. Economic development money, tremendous border money. Now you're loaded up on the border.
Yeah, the border is funded
I
to
don't
the
think we're
teeth,
gonna need
bro.
so much of it because we had
That
zero
part, no.
come in
But then
last
again,
month, so
I'm not
sure
going.
how much
Have
of
you
it
guys
we wanna
seen it?
spend.
JP
You may
Morgan
think about
flushing.
that. You may actually think about saving a lot of money.
Bro, did you
because
guys
the
see
wall's
the
been
traffic?
largely built.
That's the.
And it
Oh, don't even
obviously
get me
worked,
started.
But you may want to think about that. But so I think it's incredible when I watch the Democrats and they have standard lines like they had Russia, Russia, Russia. They had the laptop from hell. It all came from Russia. They make things up and they go with it and they feed it to you people in many cases. And they said, here's our line. And I hear the new line is death. Oh, it's death. Everyone's going to die. There's nothing to do with death. In fact, we're saving our country. Death is from allowing 25 million people into our country, of which 3 or 4 are stone cold, hard criminals. 11,888 are murderers, many of them committing more than one murder. That's death, and the Democrats did that. Joe Biden did that by allowing people to come in here just totally unchecked, unvetted, open borders, open borders. The whole world was dumped into our country, from prisons, from gangs, from mental institutions. We had many people walking the streets, walking in areas that we don't know anything about, that came out of insane asylums. They released their the insane asylum population into our country, and it's amazing the job that you and Tom Homan are doing, by the way, on that. But we have to get them out, and we have no choice. We have to get them out, and we are getting them out. And so, Pete, you want to tell them about our great military and how well we did with respect to the bombers and the B-2? We had the pilots here 2 days ago, and they were incredible people. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Truly a historic mission. It demonstrated the skill and courage of the United States military. From those B-2 pilots and families that we had a chance to meet, sir, to the fighter pilots, to the refuelers, to the maintainers, to the air defenders who defended the base. What was demonstrated on the world stage was American military might and capability. And it wasn't just Fordo and Esfahan and Natanz that took notice in Iran. It was the rest of the world, that we have a decisive commander-in-chief willing to use these capabilities, which are the best in the world. As the president pointed out, no one else could have done what America did there on that night, and everyone took notice of that. With the One Big Beautiful Bill, sir, we've got $150 billion additional to invest in Golden Dome and all the other weapons systems and stockpiles and shipbuilding priorities of yours. Another month, another historic recruiting bump. It's not just the Army and the Marine Corps anymore, it's the Navy, the Air Force, and the Space Force, all historically ahead of where they've ever been. So historic spirit inside the military. We had a chance to be at NATO, Marco and I, and see how the world responds to us saying it's time for you to shoulder the burden and take the lead for your continent. That only happens with President Trump leading, and we're proud to be a part of what's going on at the border, sir. With now a fourth national defense area where we're helping get to that number 0 and securing the border. But that mission, Operation Midnight Hammer, re-established deterrence. It reversed what happened in Afghanistan. You saw the debacle of what Biden allowed to happen in Afghanistan and what that did to our image. President Trump said, with Operation Midnight Hammer, we're re-establishing American leadership and deterrence, and we're proud to be a part of it, sir.
And our so-called enemies were watching. They watched every minute of it. They watched. There was very few people that weren't watching, actually, but they watched every minute. It was a perfect military performance, the likes of which we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, if you compare that to the same country, the hostages from years ago, Jimmy Carter, it was unfortunate for Jimmy Carter. He was a nice man, but with the helicopters going down, the sandstorms, the prisoners, they got captured, then the election. Straight hours, they didn't stop. They went skedaddle. You know the word skedaddle? It means skedaddle. They dropped the bombs and somebody said skedaddle.
Oh, I'm muted?
Let's get the hell out of here.
Shit, I said once we get the compound, remind me of this topic and the whole like Iran-Israel thing, because I have tinfoil for you, but it's gonna be in-person tin. So yeah, we're gonna have our own segment of in-person tin when we have the compound. So, but remind me whenever I see you. 51
fake intelligence agents, if you remember that. She did that story, created a story out of it. She created a story out of the laptop from hell, saying it came from Russia, but it actually came from Hunter Biden's bedroom or worse. It's just a scammer, and she's still at CNN, which is pretty amazing. But we'll ask you a question about her. But they came up with this concept that maybe the attack wasn't that good. Maybe and I saw it happen right after the attack. I saw this person on CNN. I like to watch the enemy. You learn from the enemy. And I watch because you have to know where they're coming from. And I watched her say, Anderson, you know, I'm hearing stories that maybe they didn't hit their target. Maybe it wasn't that good a hit. And they were hearing stories. The next day it was a little more, and the next day a little more. After 3-4 days, she was saying, you know, I don't know. I don't think it was that. Except by that time, everybody knew it was hit perfectly. The evidence is in the planes.
Why is uranium going down?
The pilots are
Again,
the best
banks I don't
evidence.
like, but I haven't liked them all day. Sadly, look at this SPY, bro. Nasdaq went green.
So
barely. It was already leading, but then you're only down by 0.03.
Airspace. I'll never forget. We were in the situation.
I'll never forget.
And they said they have entered Iranian airspace, and everyone took a deep breath because they had more missiles pointed at them, but the equipment is so good, it's stealth, way up in the air, and it was stealth, and they went right through that, and they sort of, by the time they found out they were there, they were already gone. That was the word skedaddle, get the hell out of here.
That's
but they were right in the most dangerous airspace in the world, and
very
they took
military
those big, beautiful, very
skedaddle.
fast. They're unbelievable planes. I mean, they become really beautiful.
Extracting target. Time to skedaddle.
I always thought they sort of were cool, but now they look
we'll get them again next
better
time.
Than just cool.
Time to skedaddle.
But they dropped the loads, and literally they would hit. If you look at this table from here to there, they had a half a refrigerator door is the way to best explain it. Take a refrigerator door, average size, cut it in half. That was their target. They hit every single one. Then we had 30 missiles, Tomahawk, shot from submarines 300 miles away. Every one of them hit their target. It was a perfect mission. Then they came back almost 37 hours.
Still got some follow through.
Every plane worked perfectly. The mechanics were here too. I said, you got to get the mechanics here. We didn't have any problems. If you remember, they had a lot of problems with the helicopters, but they did fly through a dust storm, which they shouldn't have done. Sometimes you say, let's go back and try it on a nicer day. Dust and sand don't work well with helicopters if you know much about helicopters, but that was a horrible embarrassment to us. Then we had Afghanistan, which I think was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, and we would have gotten out. I was the one that got them down. I would have kept Bagram, the big air base, which right now is controlled by China, among the most powerful runways in the world.
I tell you, if they just skedaddled in Afghanistan,
anything could land, and
we'd
right
still
now,
have
they were
Bagram.
1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. I was keeping it. Outside of that, we were leaving, and I
don't know what he
been
did.
out faster than
He
that.
probably
We
was
would
on
have
a
gotten out
scooter,
with strength and
couldn't even ride
dignity. Instead, that was the most botched up mess I've ever seen. They left all that equipment behind, and every year they have a parade running down some third-rate street with the equipment. You know, it's supposed to be Fifth Avenue. It doesn't work. But with all that equipment that they left, they should have taken every ounce of it.
Why does
I
the
was
video
taking every
kind of look
I
like
said
Baba?
every screw, every bolt, every nail you take out of there. And Millie said, I remember one time, so we're better off leaving the equipment. Why? Well, it's cheaper. I said, cheaper? You mean it's cheaper to leave a $150 million airplane rather than flying it into Pakistan or India or someplace, or just flying it straight home? It's cheaper. Yes, sir. That's when I knew he was an idiot. Didn't take long to figure that one out. But they left all that equipment, but they left their dignity behind. It was the most embarrassing moment, in my opinion, in the history of our country. Not that we got out. We should have not been there. But that we got out the way we got out, with great embarrassment and death. You had 13 young people. I've gotten to know their families very well, but you had hundreds of people killed that nobody talks about. Yet the other side, many people were killed. Many people are walking around with no legs, no arms from that whole thing. They left from the wrong airport. They should have left from Bagram, because Bagram was a big base with hundreds of miles of fencing and territory around it. Nobody would be able to get near it. And they left. So, we've done a great job, and I think people are really starting to see it. They're starting to appreciate it. Pete's done fantastically.
Early for this.
That mission
I didn't tell you
was a work of art.
It was kind of surprising.
And I have
this
spoken
was just like
to
a
some
random
of our,
cabinet meeting. Everyone didn't know. They didn't know if it was going to be about trade or what.
Potential enemies.
Yeah.
And they essentially said the same thing. Very impressive. There wasn't a thing that we didn't lose an engine. We didn't lose it. They landed and they were cheered. But the sad thing was they were cheered, and one of the pilots said, we were a little concerned because when we got out, we were told that on television they were reporting that we may have missed our targets. Sir, we hit every target. That's what I do for a living. We hit every target. In fact, when the bombs hit, a yellow haze came over the horizon that I've never seen before. It just lit up the whole horizon, brighter than the sun. It was like looking into the sun. He goes, we hit our target, because you know what that was exploding. And but they were a little downbeat because they listened to that fake CNN reporting and the fake New York Times. They worked together to try and say that it wasn't perfect. They couldn't say they missed. All they could say is, maybe it wasn't perfect. And you ought to fire that reporter immediately. You should fire her. Real fake. And so I just want to congratulate those pilots. And, you know, a lot of people don't like bringing things like that up.
They were mentioning Trump until the very last, on the day they were moving out.
People. but they know.
So yeah, bro.
And the media has to straighten out their
And I
act.
said
You know,
it, bro. Joe Biden's the only dude that
approval.
beat Donald
You got
Trump.
to do a little better than that.
I mean, think about it.
It's important for the country that you do better. I think they ought to make a lot of changes.
Bro.
I think changes are going to be made to the media, but it's hard to have a really successful country if you have a corrupt media, and we really have a corrupt media. And nobody really knows why. I mean, why would you want to have
money,
open borders,
the young generation,
criminals
and the
pouring
mid-age
into our country?
generation?
Why would you want to have men playing in women's
to be
sports,
successful,
transgender for
so
everyone?
then we all started bending the knee to get money.
But
now, most
some of you
reporters, it's
don't.
all money,
I'm looking
guys,
at some people, they love the country, but I look at other people and they can't.
We need young people
but,
with skills
we're really
and
proud of our
talents, less
military.
ashamed,
And
more bold.
And the people
to
that
stand
maybe
in
don't like
authority on
us
the good things
or want to play
and
games
generate
with us,
good
because I
things
think that
without
had you not
caving.
had the situation in
That's
Afghanistan, I don't think Putin would have gone in. I think when Putin looked at how stupid and incompetent that operation was, he said, wow, this might be a chance. And we're dealing with him now too. We're not happy with Putin. I'm not happy with Putin. I can tell you that much right now, because he's killing a lot of people. And a lot of them are his soldiers and their soldiers, mostly. And it's now up to 7,000 a week. And I'm not happy with Putin. Okay, any questions? Yes.
Yes, sir. You just
Any
said
questions?
You're not happy with Vladimir Putin. Is there anything that you plan to do to act on that feeling of unhappiness?
Well, I wouldn't be telling you. Don't we want to have a little surprise? You know, one of the things we did with the attack is that, and you asked that question, I didn't mean to be rude, but I'm in a rude because I'm looking at some of these crooked people up here. So I'm rude, but your question was asked very nicely. But one of the things we did is
These ugly people, rude people, I'm looking at
We
them.
wanted to get every fact straight. We wanted to have the distance straight, the number of pilots straight. Everything had to be correct, because we want to be, this was a very important mission. If we failed on this mission, it was beyond the war that, obviously we had with Iran and Israel.
I'm doing the
a
little
lot of
bicep,
hatred, a lot of years and years of
thoracic
hatred,
spine shrug.
centuries of hatred. People have never seen anything like it. So we wanted to be correct with all our facts. So what I was doing is just asking, it would be great if the media would be correct with their facts. That's all we ask for. So go ahead. So finish it up.
Oh, yes. Just returning back to Russia, if there's anything that you would signal about your displeasure with them.
Well, I'm very unhappy with them. There's no reason for this. It's turned out to be tougher, but it's only tougher. And I will say the Ukrainians were brave, but we gave them the best equipment ever made. We gave them the anti-tank busters that knocked out tanks. I mean, you just aim them in the direction of the tank and the tank is gone. We gave them missiles, the latest and the greatest. They were able to shoot down a lot of things that would have normally wiped out. Probably would have been a very quick war. It would have been a war that lasted 3-4 days, but they had the benefit of unbelievable equipment. And Europe gave them, so we gave them far more, because Biden shouldn't have done that. He should have equalized. We should have given him the same, or we should have given actually less than Europe. It affects Europe much more than us, but we're in there for over $300 billion. Europe's in there for over $100 billion, but still, Europe gave a lot. And I will say this, the Ukrainians, whether you think it's unfair that we gave all that money or not, they were very brave, because somebody had to operate that stuff. And a lot of people I know wouldn't be operating it. They wouldn't have the courage to do it. So they fought very bravely. But we gave them the best equipment in the world. We make the best military equipment by far. There's nobody close. You look at other equipment from other countries, it's not even close. That's why everybody wants to buy our equipment. And that's why we're going to step up these contractors now that make it, and they're brilliant, but they make it too slowly.
Good speech, I like it.
And we have to step them up and let them make it at a much higher rate. Unfortunately, we have to do that. But if you look at our Patriots, if you look at our Tomahawks, if you look at
but dude, what he's saying about U.S. tech
what we
is
do
like
with
really
tanks
true.
is you wouldn't want to be driving a tank.
Shit that we don't know about, but
feel
like,
nice and secure.
As it
but
stands,
they,
bro,
javelins,
we just have military
called.
shit that like people
and
cannot
I gave them
do,
the javelins.
even to this
Remember
day.
they said Trump gave the javelins and Obama gave them sheets, right? They called Obama at that time. Barack Hussein Obama, if you haven't heard, did a terrible job. But that was a war that should have never happened, and a lot of people are dying, and it should end. And I don't know, we get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin. For you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
Okay? My mom don't like it when you cuss Trump. I like it, but my mom don't like it, Trump.
I'm looking at it.
Oil again.
The Senate is passing.
And SMCI.
Passed very, very tough sanctions. But yeah, I'm looking at it.
Can you sign that?
It's an optional bill. It's totally at my option. They passed it.
There could be
totally
some good
at my
EU,
option.
because they already said no letter
totally
to
at
EU.
my option.
And he was
looking
just
at it very
really nice
slowly.
to EU.
Go ahead, please.
The Council of Economic Advisors released a new report saying that imported goods have actually decreased in price from December through March. Well, my question is,
with the tariffs.
Well, the Fed chairman keeps saying that tariffs are going to cause price increases.
Are
the prices just not
chairman
passed
of the
through?
Fed?
Yes, exactly.
The chairman of the Fed.
Are the prices just not passed through yet?
No, I think what's happening is everything's evening out. You know, when we charge, see what people don't understand, the other countries have been charged, almost every country charges us tariffs. We
You can't say it though. The president tells you about the currency. You don't want him to fuck with the dollar. And Besson doesn't want him to either.
Monolith.
But yeah,
that made bad deals with everybody.
Not only tariffs, what about
Korea,
other currency rates?
It's okay. We
There's
rebuilt
been too many moves to
and they pay us very little for the military. I got them to pay billions of dollars, and Biden
I think that's the
canceled
real
it
answer.
When he came in. You know, I said to South Korea, as an example, you know, we give you free military, essentially, very little. And I think you should pay us $10 billion a year. And they went crazy. But they agreed to 3. So I got 3 with a phone call.
He's talking about Korea. He said they went crazy.
I was satisfied. I said, but next year we have to talk. And then we had a rigged election, and we never got to talk. And you know what Biden did? They probably went to him and they said, listen, Trump treated us terribly, and we shouldn't be paying anything. And he cut it down to nothing. So that's what happens. It's ridiculous. That's the other thing. We're talking to countries about contributing to the military, not only just paying more in NATO, but contributing. You know, we have 45,000 soldiers in South Korea. We have 45,000 soldiers in Germany, 52,000 actually. And you know, that's a huge economic development for them. That's
I think he's going
tremendous amount. Just like
I think people are tying the EU
it's
shit, bro.
tremendous money for them, and
you
it's
just
a tremendous
flamed
loss
even
for
South
us.
Korea,
So
but
we're talking, in a very nice way, we're talking to
pump
them
in
about
the
it.
EU and
It's
Germany.
very unfair. We supply the militaries to many very successful countries. I mean, South Korea is making a lot of money, and they're very good. They're very good, but you know, they should be paying for their own military.
President Trump, I'll ask you a question about Jerome Powell as well, and then a question to the Attorney General. Jerome Powell, and then I have a question for the Attorney General. Jerome Powell, who you've been pressuring to lower interest rates, he's facing accusations of lying to Congress, which is a potential crime, about the opulent.
He should resign immediately. We should get somebody in there that's going to lower interest rates. Why don't you call for his resignation?
Yeah.
Two congressional Republicans.
I did, Donald.
Me, I think he's terrible. I think, look, we're paying, I call him Too Late. T-O-O, Too Late. Like Too Tall Jones for the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Too late.
Too late.
Powell
He's
should
always
resign
late.
immediately.
But he wasn't
Kicks
late
the
with
wire.
Biden before the election. He was cutting him like crazy. It didn't help too much, did it? But he was cutting him like crazy before the election with Kamala and Biden. He was trying to get them in, I guess. I don't know. He was recommended by somebody that worked for me. I like you better.
If I could ask the Attorney General a question too, President.
Sure.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney, Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the stabbing?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey,
I
Pam,
could...
could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking...
Well,
we have
you
Texas.
said you were
we have
gonna
this,
put out
we
the
have all of
legs.
things we-
Give me the
And are people
FTX
still talking
legs,
about this guy,
too.
this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this,
was a
where we're
political
having some of the
campaign
greatest
talking point.
success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas.
on,
It just
Donnie.
seems, like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sideline this
Sure,
one.
sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on
He's
Fox, and
deflecting
it's
that
been getting
one.
a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a
said you had
question
it,
about
you
the
guys
client list,
hyped
and my
it up,
response
you
was,
gave us Cash
it's
Patel.
sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
Lawyer
I'll send you the
language.
tens of thousands of video. They turned out
So
to
you
be
guys see what I
child
told you?
porn
If we do
downloaded
get
by that
inflation,
disgusting Jeffrey
Trump's gonna be
Epstein.
like, why do you-
Child
are you
porn is
mad
what
that
they
you
were.
have growth?
Never going to be released.
I
Never
gave
gonna
you
see the light of
growth.
day.
Why
To
would
being
you be
an
mad
agent,
if there's
I have
growth?
no
Who
knowledge
even
about
cares
that.
about
We can get back to you
inflation?
on that.
You see that?
And the
It's a
minute
lawyer
missing
language, bro.
from the video,
If they
we
could do it,
released
if they
the
could meet
video
the
showing
campaign promise, they'll do it.
definitively the
But if they
video
can't, they're
was
going to
not
turn into
conclusive,
lawyers.
But
I don't know if you guys have
evidence
noticed.
prior to
If
it
they could
was
get it done,
showing
they'll
he
do it.
committed
If they
suicide.
promised it.
And what
But then
was
if
on
they
that, there was
can't,
a
they're
minute
like,
that was
well,
on the counter.
I
And what we learned
had
from
the
Bureau of
file
Prisons
on
was
my
every
desk
year,
that was a
every,
file of the
night,
file with
they
that would have
redo that video. It was
contained the
old from,
file
like,
in the
1999.
information
So every night
with the
the
terms
video
and
is
conditions if
reset,
you read.
and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Mr. President, on the tariffs again, on August 1st, you said
Just
it's the
interview
deadline.
everybody
What
at
incentives
who has a
countries
Blue
have to
Sky
negotiate?
account,
That deadline
and we'll
is
get to
moved.
the bottom of this. What the fuck are you doing?
We
What are you
didn't
saying?
It's always been August 1st, that's what we're paying. A statement was put out today, and I put it out.
Futures are ripping. You
just
actually
to
hit a
make
new
it
high
clear.
right now.
It wasn't
Only
a
thing red now
change,
is the
it was
Dow.
August 1st. We don't change very much. Every time we put out a statement, they say he made a change. I didn't make a change. Clarification, maybe. No, August 1st they pay. And everybody pays. Everybody has to pay. And the incentive is that they have the right to deal in the United States. If they don't want to, they don't have to pay, and they don't have to deal here. But if they want to buy and make a lot of money and sell in the United States, they have to do that. You know, if you go back and look at some of the good presidents, our country was the wealthiest, proportionately the wealthiest. From 1870 to 1913, it was an all-tariff country. We didn't have income tax. That came in in 1913. We had tariffs, and we had so much money we didn't know what to do with it. We had, we had a couple of presidents that were very, very strong. McKinley, I guess, more than anybody, but he was the tariff king. But he was very, very strong. Yes,
dude.
Sort of sad.
Bro, you don't know what you're running on? This is the stupidest shit ever. It tracks. Bro, this little pop a couple minutes ago. Remember when he looked over and was like, I like you more. I think I like you more. You know what it was? He was talking to Besant. I think that's why you're running. So again, he talked about the deals. You know, it didn't sound like anything bad, but then I think that Besant comment, otherwise there's nothing. But yeah, that's what it was saying. He was looking at
Sir,
Besant.
we'll charge you no
that's what my
tariffs.
wire says.
Nothing.
Appears
We'll
to
give you
tell
everything.
Besant
we'll
he
give
likes
you
it.
access to our markets.
That's where you got
Is
this
that a
little
correct
extra
statement, Scott?
4 candles.
Howard, would you say that's a correct statement?
Exactly correct.
Pretty
It's
funny.
like
Howard!
they just don't.
Howard's there.
They're
Let
very slow
Howard
because
speak.
For years they ripped us off, and we didn't have a president that understood it,
Flushing.
or Secretary
That looks like
of
it could be a
Treasury
short
or
report.
Secretary
3% down.
of-
I don't have headline
a
yet.
lot of different secretaries are
CIPT.
involved, but certainly Commerce Secretary was, not doing their job. I don't know about Kelly. She's small business. We'll keep it that way, okay? Her small business is bigger than almost all big businesses when you add it all up. But no, they are very respectful of our country. But the incentive is that they have the right to do business with us. Without that, they don't have the right to do business. And that would be okay, too.
And will there be a flurry of deals? Will we hear in the next 24 hours? Will we hear a flurry of deals that
Yeah,
are
we
finished.
have a lot of them going out. But the deals are mostly my deal to them. We're picking a number that's low.
Let's see, might sell on that
You don't
word
wanna
to go
hurt
if he
that.
gives something good.
And fair.
But very vague.
We're picking a number that's lower than, in most cases, lower than what they charged us. But it's amazing when you've paid all this money for years and they get one president that's a little bit different and a little tougher on this subject, and they're willing to drop everything they've been charging us for years and years. I mean, we have countries going, we will have you don't have to pay any tariff to come in and do business. They're giving us total access to their countries. They gave us no access to the country. They say, well, you cannot go into our country. Okay, good. Now we will give you total access and you don't have to pay any tariffs. But please don't charge us tariffs. And we don't like that deal. So the letters I send out we have made some deals. We can make a lot more deals. It's just too time consuming. It just makes it more complicated. And we can do things over the years too. You know, we're not hard line. But it's about time the United States of America started
y'all
collecting
keep calling him
money
a taco.
from
I'm pretty
countries
sure
that
this
were
is just my dad.
Ripping us off and laughing.
Not like Daddy
behind
Trump,
our
but
back
like this
at how
reminds me of my
stupid we
Demir
were.
Habibi. You know, maybe we have a deal. We don't. You get the cup and yeah. Sure. Yeah.
On the tariff
Well, he just
issue.
said it could take a
So
year.
you talked about India coming. But then a couple
again,
days
I think
ago,
a lot
you
of these
issued a new
deadlines,
tariff
we'll see if
threat
people
to
start
members
trying to
of the
push
BRICS
them out or
countries
assume that.
for
Yeah.
If they aligned with anti-American policies,
10% sure.
Doesn't
that
make
would
any
be
sense.
India, Brazil,
That's
Russia,
right, they have to pay
South
10% if they're in BRICS. Because
Taco
BRICS
is
was
Trump
set up
always
to hurt
chickens
us.
out.
BRICS
I think it's the
was set up
stupidest
to,
acronym, but
degenerate
you
our
can't
dollar
escape it anymore.
and take our dollar as the standard, take it off as the standard. And that's okay if they want to play that game, but I can play that game
you're
too.
talking
So anybody
BRICS.
that's in BRICS is getting a 10% charge.
Is that immediate, sir, or
Yeah,
is that
pretty
if
soon.
they engage in some behavior?
Well, if they're a member of BRICS, they're going to have to pay 10% tariff.
Every
Just for
BRICS,
that
10%.
one thing. And they won't be a member long. I thought BRICS was, I said this about a year ago, and it largely broke up. But, there are a couple that hang around, but I thought it largely broke up. BRICS is not, in my opinion, not a serious threat. But what they're trying to do is destroy the dollar so that another country can take over and be the standard. And we're not going to lose the standard at any time. If you have a smart president, you will never lose the standard.
there was
if you have a
Epstein
stupid
questions. It got
president
weird.
like the last one, you would lose the standard. You wouldn't have the dollar as you. And if we lost the world standard dollar, that would be like losing a war, a major world war. We would not be the same country any longer. We're not going to let that happen. The dollar, you ever hear the expression, dollar is king? The dollar is king. We're going to keep it that way, okay? And I'm just saying, if people want to challenge it, they can, but they're going to have to pay a big price. And I don't think any of them are willing to pay that price.
But a simple question is, does that jeopardize?
Thank you, Mr. President. Are you optimistic about reaching the tariff deal with the European Union soon?
Well, the European Union has been speaking to us, Ursula and the whole group, and they've been very nice. They treated us very badly until recently. Now they're treating us very nicely. It's like a different world, actually.
I
they've
do that
treated
every
us very
time
badly. They
you
were
say
among the
Ursula.
toughest
I've never.
to deal
That's
with.
why I say
Actually,
von
in many
der Leyen.
respects, they were much
Because if you just say
worse than
Ursula,
China.
bro,
Look at what they do
I'll
to
be
our
thinking,
companies. They
you know what I'm
sue
saying?
Apple. They sue Google.
What a European name.
17
Ursula.
billion they got from
Ursula
Apple
von
on
der
a
Leyen.
lawsuit that they didn't have a case. They have, judges that are European Union judges. And they take so much money away from our country in terms of that, in terms of other things that they do. They're very tough. But now they're being very nice to us, and we'll see what happens. We're probably 2 days off from sending them a letter. We are
2
talking
days
to
off.
them. I just want you to know, a letter means a deal.
Hold on.
A lot of people said, we got
So
200
you just said they're
countries.
not
We can't meet
sending
with 200
EU a
countries.
letter,
We have
but then he's
a few
saying,
trusted
well, they
people
might
that
get a letter in
know
2
what
days.
they're doing, that are doing a good job. But
hold
you can't
on.
do it. You have to
The
do it in a
EU
more
thing
general
may not
way,
be
but
as
it's a
good
very
as we
good
thought.
way.
And that one's
it's
serious.
a better way. It's a more powerful way. And we sent him a letter. You read the letter. I think it was well crafted. And mostly it's just a little number in there. You'll pay 25%, 35%. We have some at 60, 70. Those are ones with massive, where we have massive trade deficits because they've treated us very badly. But I would say in every case, I'm treating them better than they treated us over the years. Don't you agree with that? I do. I could have done much. I could have been much harsher. I don't want to do that. We want to have relationships.
EU treating probably 2 days off from sending letter. That's what's hitting the wire.
They treated
That's
us
your
far
little red
worse
there.
than I'm treating them. I'm treating them
So
very
he just
good.
threw
I could
cold
go
water
higher
on the EU
with
situation.
The tariffs, but I don't want to hurt them.
Again, we
That's
all
why when
thought
you just
yesterday,
read,
even
you
today,
come up
I
with
was
the
just saying
number,
that
it's
could have been a
incredible.
signal
The prices are
of a
actually
positive
going down.
one, and then
Just so
he
you know, when
just-
I got in, everyone said, eggs are going through the roof.
Eggs.
I was in for about 4 days, and they started screaming at me about eggs. They said, that's Biden's problem. I didn't know about eggs. But eggs went up about 5 times. You did a fantastic job. And we ended up shortly getting, in fact, for Easter, they said, go out and buy plastic eggs. You can't use real eggs. Well, we bought 200,000 eggs for the White House for the Easter egg hunt that we have at the White House, and there were eggs. We had the price down, and now the price is lower than it was before. We did a good job with eggs, but we did a good job with groceries. Our prices are down in this country. A big part of it's oil. The oil, you had a couple of places last week, you had $1.99 for oil, for gasoline.
I
Nobody
told
thought
you guys,
that's
I don't
it.
know why
wanna
he
get it
says
lower
this
if
one.
I can. But we've done a good
This-
job.
he
You've
loves
done a very
this
good
one.
job. Do you want to say a couple of words about that, you and Chris, about what's happening with energy?
Some letters at
Absolutely,
60
but
to
I would say,
70.
on the pricing side, President Trump, the fact that you've endorsed and supported a policy of energy dominance, that sends a signal to the market that we're going to have more supply.
That's a
You
delayed
talked,
headline.
during the campaign about
That's a
inflation
delayed
being a
headline
country
from the
buster.
last
You've
question, but
broken
it's hitting
back
the
of
wire, so
inflation
be
in
careful.
6
That's
months among
that's
all
the
other
market.
things
That's the
you've accomplished.
algo. They're
We had
taking
no
a
inflation.
30-second,
And we've
1-minute
got,
headline running on it.
Heading into the 4th of July, these
60,
are the lowest gas
70%
prices at the pump,
could go higher.
in 4
That was the
years.
EU comment.
And again,
They're
for
doubling
Americans,
down on the
this
EU
is,
one.
This is like hundreds of billions of dollars that stay in their pockets because we lowered the price of gas at the pump. But when we lower the price of energy, it lowers the price of food. It lowers the price of every
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
clothes you
saying.
wear.
It's
the
old.
biggest
Okay,
thing.
Bank
It's
of
the biggest
America
It's like
flush.
a big tax cut. When you get energy down, every 50 cents is like a massive tax cut, and we've gotten it down much below that. You know, we had great energy, great low prices, everything else when the election
Kuwait
turned over.
Sovereign
I'm
Fund
trying
to sell
be nice
$3
about it.
billion of Bank
It
of
turned
America
over,
stake.
shockingly, but
So
nevertheless. it
Kuwait,
happened.
it's separate. But again,
energy
markets
started
reacting to
going
the
up, and
old
it went up
EU
really
higher
bad,
rate.
and then he went back to the
and
Trump
then
policy.
Bank of America
The
flush
problem
on
was they
Kuwait
didn't know how
selling
to do
$3
that.
billion.
And he lost it. He lost that sucker. That big sucker was out of control, and his energy prices went way up, and that's what caused it. But it was also stupid spending. They spent money like, they used to use the term drunken sailors, but I won't use that term. Although it is very descriptive, I won't use that term. I refuse to use it.
Why?
But they spent money.
Why can't we
at
say
levels
drunken
that nobody
sailors?
had ever seen before, and
Is that offensive?
trillions and trillions of dollars
Did the
wasted on the
sailors,
Green New
do
Scam.
they have a coalition?
Greatest scam in the history of our country, other than maybe Russia.
Is it because
Russia,
pee
that
is
might
it
have been.
alcohol?
But the Green New Scam was the single greatest scam in the history of our country, and continues to be. But it's weakened badly. It's hobbling along because people are finally getting it. But they spent trillions of dollars on the Green New Scam, getting nothing for it. Devised by a couple of young people that weren't even good college students, you know, not even good students. Check out their marks. Yeah.
She said Hitler.
No, not for CNN. Not for CNN. Go ahead.
The last jobs report, in the last jobs report, Mr. President, in the last jobs report, the manufacturing jobs actually lost 7,000 jobs. When will the investments that you've been talking about have an effect
Well,
on
they're
manufacturing?
building the plants now. About 7 have started. We're going to have hundreds started within a short period of time. Lee Zeldin, who may be the most important man in this room, I'm sorry, but he's the one that gets the permits, whereas he's the one that has to get the permits for the plants and the factories, and permits that used to take 5 years, he's getting in record-setting times. AI, we're leading China a lot in AI, and if we go with this, you know, I'm allowing the plants to build their own electric. I'm allowing them to become an electric utility, so they can produce their own electricity, because we need double the to be successful.
Okay, you're coming
with
back
AI,
up
which
already.
is the biggest thing now.
Again, it was an
We
old.
need
That's why I said
double
that was
the
the stock
electricity
market,
that
bro.
we
That
have,
headline was
which is
old.
hard to believe.
That
We
big
need even
candle was
more
an
than
old
that.
headline
And
related
they're
to the
building
EU
plants
shit.
with their own electricity.
So you're already up there, but
substations.
you look at the
They don't have
scoreboard,
to
bro.
use the
We're not
grid.
even moving more
And
than a quarter.
anything they build
Only
extra,
Russell and Dow,
they're
really.
putting into the grid. So we're supplying the grid with brand new electric sources. And you know, it's funny, when they came to see me, they never even asked for that. I told them about it. The reason they didn't, they thought that was an impossibility. You're not allowed to build your own electric. These are massive investments that are being made in building electricity for their plants. And they're going to have, I think, Doug, a lot of electricity left over. And that electricity is going to be passed into the grid and give us no more, you know, like you look at California. They have blackouts and brownouts every week.
Like he's talking to deal
they're
with
totally
China.
out of control. They have a really incompetent governor. Where's Chris? Is he here?
I'm
Do you
here,
want
Mr.
to speak
President.
to the subject?
Yeah, I think a huge thing in the One Big Beautiful Bill, Mr. President, because of your leadership, is the ending of these subsidies, as you call them, the Green New Scam. That saves our country $500 billion over the next 10 years. But American taxpayers were paying twice. They were paying that money, $500 billion in the subsidies, and they were paying more expensive electricity price. If you subsidize something, you should at least lower the cost of it. But in this case, we were subsidizing something and paying more for it. So the One Big Beautiful Bill had two huge things: ending wasteful spending. Wind, solar, and batteries combined are 3% of U.S. total primary energy. 3%. For $1 trillion, another $500 billion coming. It's just not a good investment, hurting our businesses, hurting our consumers.
Okay, he was saying AI
the
in
One Big
China,
Beautiful
but
Bill also
it was about
unshackled
AI, not
oil,
China.
gas, and coal development in the United States, onshore and offshore. Secretary Burgum has been working tirelessly on how, by getting the government out of the way, private businesses will develop more resources in the United States, lowering costs for American consumers and making much better leverage for the United States to help our allies abroad and reduce the power of our adversaries abroad. So just a huge win on the energy front all around, and I thank you for your leadership.
We're setting records now on energy, and there'll be nothing compared to what they'll be in about a year
This is
from
weird.
now.
So
We're
again,
setting records.
this was
and,
a random,
wind is a very
unscheduled thing. It
expensive
was like
form of
late
energy.
last
It's
night.
very bad for
People
your
didn't know what
beautiful,
they were going to talk about,
surroundings, the
but
plains
so
and the
far, I
valleys
mean, I think
and
it's just an
birds
update on what they're
dying all
working
over
on,
the place.
but
You know, the whole thing is a
we got some
disaster.
trade stuff here,
They're
nothing
almost
too crazy.
exclusively made in China.
Yeah,
Not that I have
we're kind of
anything
all over the
against China,
place.
because
Nothing
I don't
crazy,
have a
though.
great relationship with President Xi.
EU
but,
to protect Airbus and
I asked
U.S.
him,
trade deal
how many wind
has
farms do
Ferrari
you have?
set to lose
he
out.
makes them, but they don't have a lot of wind farms, I'll tell you, very, very few. And wind is tremendously expensive and is very ugly. And if you own a house that's inside of a windmill, your house is worth less than half. And you hear noises. And interestingly, in New England, you probably read where for 50 years they had 2 whales washed up. 50 years. And last summer, they had 14 washed up. Now,
Is that
I'm
why
not
the
saying that's
properties
the
by
wind
Palm
farm
Springs
that
are
was built,
cheap?
but maybe it is, right? Probably is.
Like Palm Springs is expensive,
it's,
but the ones by the
tremendously
windmills
expensive.
are a lot cheaper.
And it can only be done with subsidy. You know, I know a man that's in that business, and one of the biggest in the world actually runs a company that builds these stupid windmills. And he said, I hate the business because it's the only energy where you need subsidy. He said, energy shouldn't need subsidy. You should make money with energy. So wind. The other one is the solar, those big solar fields. They're taking our farmland. Our farmers are like mortified by it. They hate it. It's very, very inefficient and very ugly too. You know, probably better than a windmill, but you go around and you see all these things that are 3 miles long by 3 miles wide, and you say, what the hell is that? And it's a lot of plastic from China. It's plastic, black plastic from China. Now, we want to be smart. We're going with, look, China right now is building 58 coal-fired plants, 58 big ones. They have 62 on the books to build. We've reintroduced clean, beautiful coal, because you know you can do a lot with coal now. Clean, beautiful coal, and natural gas, and all of the other things that we have. But we don't want wind, and we don't want solar, because they're a blight on our country. They hurt our country very badly, and smart countries don't use it. Solar sounds good, I will say, and I like, on occasion, you'll see a roof which is made as solar brick, but it's a smaller use. We need the kind of thing that's going to fire up our plants, and it's not going to be wind, you know, that's very intermittent, as you probably know. But they've spent a fortune. They've spent trillions of dollars on this stuff. And I'll just give you one other story. A friend of mine is a very successful guy. He went back to see his mother in Minnesota, hadn't seen her in a long time, and he wasn't back for 10 years, which isn't a nice story. I mean, you don't see your mother for 10 years. She's got some difficulties, which I know the guy, he does have some difficulties. He's very successful, but probably not the nicest person. It was actually longer than 10 years, but he went back and he told me he wanted to go and look at the valley. There's a valley in Minnesota that he thought was so beautiful. And I hadn't seen it in a long time. He's driving along the road. He said, oh my, I'll use the word gosh, oh my gosh. He said, oh, he said, it looked like a junkyard. You had 159 windmills. They were all over the place. Some were old, some were newer, different companies, different shapes, different sizes, different colors. Many of them were terminated. Terminated meaning closed. You can't take them down because the environmentalists don't let you bury the blades because they're made out of a fiber they say is bad for the earth. So they want you to put them up, but they don't let you take them down. But many of them were turned off. He said it looked like a junkyard. Go to Palm Springs, California, and take a look at that pile of junk. You go into a wealthy neighborhood. Before you get there, you have to ride through hundreds of windmills that are, most of them are turned off. They're rotting, they're rusting, they're 30 years old, 20 years old, and they have a very short life. You know, those windmills have a very short life, especially the ones that are in the nice salty Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean, where the salt just gets onto that steel and decimates it. Now, it's a horrible, horrible thing for our country. And I speak out. It would be nice to say wind, because it sounds so good, doesn't it, Doug? Wind, wind. But it's not. It's these ugly machines, and they're all made. You got to see, some are a little taller, a little shorter. They're made by different companies. They have different stocks. They have different blades. They have different everything. It is so horrible. And if you look at smart countries, they don't use it. Smart countries don't use it. And we're now a smart country. We're not we're a brilliant country. We're not smart, we're brilliant now. We're gonna be a brilliant country. We have to be, because we have to catch up for some really stupid people that did a bad job. Yes, Brian?
Yes, Mr. President, I've got a quick comment, some feedback as a native Texan, someone that I grew up bringing my kids to a camp very near the affected camp now. Thank you on behalf of Texas. I've gotten hundreds of messages that want to thank. If you're in the cabinet room, you can tell the president and his team on behalf of Texans, thank you so much for the quick response and the loving, the hugs. I saw that you gave. Two quick questions.
I saw a Palestinian senator. His name is Schumer. He's a great Palestinian. No, he's a Palestinian. He's become a Palestinian. He's abandoned the Jews. But I saw him say, it's Trump's fault. Yeah, that's right. It's Trump's fault. He was actually, do you ever see John Lovitz, The Liar? Where he goes, yeah, I went to Harvard, that's right. This was Schumer. He goes, yeah, it's Trump's fault, that's right, it's Trump. I actually saw that stupid guy try and blame it on me, and I said, man, that's a tough one to take. But his career is limited, because I hear AOC is going to beat him, and she's no bargain either, by the way. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying that's an example of an America First team effort to get this country back. So that's what America First looks like for the viewers watching us at home. My two questions. Looks like we have a rogue judge, an Obama-backed rogue judge that is attempting to block the funding to Planned Parenthood, which the big, beautiful bill cuts off the funding to Planned Parenthood. Any plans to challenge that?
Go ahead.
Absolutely. Yes, we're on it. We're on it. And I texted, I believe, I talked to yesterday Secretary Lutnick and Secretary Besson. I reached out to you to let you know that we were on it in the big, beautiful bill.
Wonderful. And then
I let her handle that question. You notice? I said, go ahead, handle that question.
I'll toss it to her. Then my second question was Secretary Rollins. You did an amazing press conference today in front of the Department of Agriculture. You talked about the Farm Act and the need to get China out of our country, owning farmland. For the viewers at home that might have missed that, can you recap what that means to national security to make sure we can grow our own food?
Well, thank you, Brian, sir, if you don't mind. Yes, this morning, Secretary Hegseth, Secretary Nome, and Attorney General Bondi and I had a press conference at the USDA.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna have a farm.
I just happened to have a chart
I'm gonna grow food, dog.
in case it came up, but obviously
I'm a future
the
farmer
Chinese
of America,
owning of farmland in our country is a massive national security issue. And for the media, you can see the yellow is where all of the farms have been purchased over the last number of years. And the red is around all of the military bases where that farmland has been purchased. So this is a massive national security issue. The press conference this morning included 3 of our greatest governors as well, Sarah Sanders from Arkansas, Jim Pillen from Nebraska, and Bill Lee from Tennessee. The states have begun taking a leadership role to ban the purchasing of China farmland. Obviously, Congress needs to step up and catch up, and we're going to be working alongside of them as well. We had some of our members, great members of Congress there, but it is time, and I think that this morning was symbolic of many things. The first of this administration working every day to effectuate President Trump's leadership and unequivocal support of America First. But second, just how close we are as a cabinet. I don't know in any other administration that you'd have 4 cabinet members at the USDA on a Tuesday morning when it's about 110 degrees outside with the sun beating down on us talking about, sir, your vision. So I think it was a great day. It was just the start. There's an executive order coming and some other things coming behind that. But protecting America's farms isn't just about protecting our farmers. It's also about national security. So that's what we discussed this morning.
I do want to say that I think we have had a really good relationship with China lately, and we're getting along with them very well. They've been very fair on our trade deal, honestly. And I hope we're going to have a great relationship. It's a big, strong, powerful country. We're more powerful.
That's what he said
than
about
they are.
EU, and
we
then
have
he
much better
backhanded
military
it.
equipment than they do.
So see though, but that
we
sounds
are
good.
getting along with them very well. I'm getting along with President Xi very well. We speak often. And
You're back with a new
with all of
account
that
after
being
YouTube
said,
banned you?
and I
Well,
understand what
maybe
you're
I
saying, but
banned you.
I think we're getting
I
along
hope
with China
not.
very well.
So please follow the rules and don't break the
Reference to
rules.
Ukraine, as you said last night.
You know that? Because even then, too, I didn't, for any of you guys, because some of y'all think that YouTube clapped you, I clapped you. So y'all need to figure it out. I'm not going to go out of my way if y'all are going to be that oblivious. So I don't remember you in that sense, so you're good, but just keep that in mind, okay?
Ukraine
I don't, it's your responsibility.
Pause last week.
I don't know. What did you tell me?
I think that's a question.
How did you
Go
get
ahead.
banned by
On
YouTube?
immigration, the Secretary of the Agriculture Secretary did say this morning that undocumented workers would not be covered by any amnesty of who are working on farms. You had said maybe that the ISA folks won't go after those folks on farms. So which is it?
There's no amnesty. What we're doing is we're getting rid of criminals, but we are doing a work program. Do you want to explain that, please?
Yeah, this morning we talked about, of course, this was a top of mind question. This morning we talked about protecting the farmers and the farmland, but obviously this president's vision of no amnesty, mass deportation continues, but in a strategic way, and then ensuring that our farmers have the labor that they need.
Crazy.
Secretary Chavez DeRimmer has been a leader on this. Obviously this comes out of the Labor Department, but moving toward automation, ensuring that our farmers have that workforce, and moving toward an American workforce. So all of the above.
We've got to give the farmers the people they need, but we're not talking amnesty. Lori, do you want to say something about that?
Thank you, Mr. President. On this, thank you, Secretary Rollins, how important this is never to displace the American worker. What the Department of Labor is doing is focusing on what the law entails now, being more modernized, more streamlining, to work through the H programs. We're going to have a concierge approach to that, where we have developed a new office to answer the need of our farmers and ranchers and producers, and not to displace the American worker, and follow within the law now, and that does not include an amnesty program at all. And we've seen that working, and we'll continue to have that roll out. On the other topics that we've somewhat talked about, the jobs numbers, Mr. President, 4 months in a row we've seen those jobs numbers increase. That's an exciting time for our manufacturers. That was asked earlier. We know it's going to take some time through that deregulation process that Lee and I are working on as well. The Department of Labor has rolled out 63 new deregulations that we're going to be moving through. In the first Trump administration, it was successful with over 30. We've just rolled out 63 new ones in order to double down on those manufacturing companies, to let them know that we have signaled through this process that we will assist them in getting the workforce that they need. It's an exciting time. That one big beautiful bill, that was the signal to my former colleagues in Congress to get this done. It's been an important time. I spent time on the ground visiting 7 states in 9 days prior to that bill being passed, because it was the most pro-worker piece of legislation that we will ever see really in this country right now. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. that matters to the American worker, because
No
we don't want to take
amnesty.
their money and give it back. We want them to keep more of their hard-earned dollars in
But
their
again,
pockets
he kind of
currently,
threw
and that's
water
what
on
they're
that
excited
hours
about.
ago
And as I
with
move
the
forward
farm
with
thing.
this tariff talks, I heard a company, orthopedic company in Indiana, say to me, for the first time since you have taken office, Mr. President, their increase in their bottom line by 8% since these tariff talks have happened.
Isn't that Stryker?
Not one company has said the president is not doing a good job. These tariff talks are working. They're feeling it on the ground. The media has told a false story because what's happening on the ground is positive, and that's what we're seeing in these jobs numbers. So I really, through the Department of Labor, to come
I think
in
like top to
behind,
bottom, you may have
all
moved
the
0.5%,
secretaries
but
and
the
build this
Russell's the only
workforce
thing
is
moving
gonna
today.
be key to the American
This is
worker. So
actually
thank
just
you
way
for what
smaller than the
everybody
0.7.
did this last week. The one
Oh,
big
you do
beautiful
got a
bill
bond
is
option in
doubling
5
down of
minutes,
this,
yeah.
and we're gonna see
3 years,
these
so
workers start to grow.
shouldn't
And
be
that
that
apprenticeship
crazy,
program
but it will
is
have
gonna
some
be working.
effect.
That's
We'll
right.
have
It's
that
gonna be
million
great.
apprentices across the
We, as you know, we're building plants all over the country now, which you weren't building any plants 4 years ago. You weren't building anything. But those plants, when they open up, it's going to be, you'll see numbers like you haven't seen ever. I don't think in history you'll never see numbers like what we're going to see in the very near future. Many of them are building the plants. Some are just starting right now. You know, it's a brand new administration. But, and they wouldn't be here except for 2 things. November 5th, the election, and the tariffs. And frankly, I guess the election was more important because of the tariffs. I mean, another person wouldn't have done this. But they're coming in because of the tariffs. They have to, they're not going to pay 25, 30, 40, 50%, 70, and 100%. And we'll be announcing something very soon on pharmaceuticals. We're going to give people about a year and a half to come in, and after that, they're going to be tariffed if they have to bring the pharmaceuticals into the country, the drugs and other things into the country. They're going to be tariffed at a very, very high rate, like 200%. We'll give them a certain period of time to get their act together. But they were all here, now they all left. They went to other places because we allowed, people that sat in this room allowed it to happen. And I don't allow it to happen. The people in this room don't allow it to happen. So we're going to be announcing pharmaceuticals, chips, and various couple of other things.
Yeah,
you know, big ones.
Labu's
We did
biotech
steel, as you know,
getting
they're
fucked on that.
50%.
Yeah.
We did aluminum, 50%.
Yeah, they're all
Lumber
getting
just
fucked. That's
came
what I'm
out.
saying. That kind of came out of nowhere.
And we did cars. And now, today we're doing copper.
All right, so yeah, watch Alcoa to the
I believe
upside
the
and
tariff and copper are gonna
FCX,
make it 50%,
and then biotech to the downside.
Any breakthroughs in
Tim
Gaza?
Lennon
Yeah, that's
and
crazy. He just said he's going to
Any
announce
breakthroughs?
pharma,
I said
and then
just sort of
200,
thought,
yeah,
what would that
200% on
be?
pharma.
Just a quick one. I didn't have much time, but he agreed with me. That's why he's
Alcoa and
out.
FCX popping too.
Any breakthroughs on Gaza with the Prime Minister, and there's reports that you're meeting with
Oh, FCX
Netanyahu again
really
tonight. Is
ran.
that
Yeah, I
accurate?
am. He's going to come over again tonight. We're talking about Gaza. It's mostly Gaza right now. It's he's been very unfairly treated. I think what they've done to him in Israel is very unfair, having to do with this trial.
All righty, did it give me all of them?
Wartime
Oh,
prime
wow, it
minister
filled me on all of
had
them.
an unbelievable outcome.
Interesting.
And I think he's been treated very unfairly. But he's coming over later. We're going to be talking about.
All right, I just made
I
it
would say almost
1,000%.
exclusively Gaza. We got to get that solved.
Yalla.
Gaza is a tragic.
Well, I got to actually
it's a
make
tragedy.
it. Hold on.
It's a tragedy. And he wants to get it solved, and I want to get it solved, and I think the other side wants to get it solved. Steve, could you talk on that?
Yeah, bro, that was just crazy, bro. I was just listening, and I put it up, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, I put pharma first, and then he talked about materials. Yeah, chips a little bit, but I'm seeing pharma 200% in a year and a half on pharma, threatens 200%, and then copper.
10 live hostages will be released. 9 deceased will be released. We're meeting at the president's direction with all the hostage families to let them know. And we think that this will lead to a lasting peace in Gaza.
All right, thanks.
Good job. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. A lot of hate.
It's a tough one.
It's called long-term hate. But we think we're going to have it solved pretty soon, hopefully with a real solution, a solution that's going to be holding up.
And can I follow up? This is, I think, the first cabinet meeting since Elon Musk has not been a special government employee, not here anymore. He's now saying he's going to create a third political party. Are you worried about the impact that could have?
No, I think it'll help us. It'll probably help. Third parties have always been good for me. I don't know about Republicans, but for
NVO
me,
headline is the biotech tariffs.
No. Look,
And Alcoa,
we
FCX
cut
to the upside. You could do
hundreds of billions
Wabu,
of
even
dollars with
Pfizer.
those. We could have done it
But
differently. I would
NVO's
have done it
foreign. I think
differently
they
a
would be
little
the
bit,
biggest
maybe,
loser, probably.
But it was something that we saved a lot
Or
of
then
money.
see if Eli Lilly could benefit, but they might be
You can
getting
always
clapped
second
too.
guess. I guess
Yeah.
some of the people in this room maybe would have done it slightly differently, and some would have done it exactly the way it was done. But it was dramatic and it was important, and we found a lot of things like billions of dollars given to people for environmental protection, where they had $100 in the account, like in Atlanta, Stacy. And then you had another one with 20 billion here, and 20 billion here, and 2 billion here, and 15 billion. And Lee, you might want to mention just a couple of those things. We really got because of Doge.
At the Trump EPA, the one big beautiful bill was
Yeah,
filled
oil's
with
ripping
many
though,
big
too.
beautiful wins for the taxpayer. It delivered a sledgehammer to the Green New scam. Billions of dollars rescinded. So it's a big deal for the American taxpayer who sees money go through pass-throughs that are filled with self-dealing and conflicts of interest. They see unqualified recipients. They see reduced agency oversight, and they want accountability with their tax
All right,
dollars.
guys. So a lot of
And they
things
got
are
it.
getting updates. I hope you
So-
see that, man. Real time, bro. So I hope that benefited you. But it's time to go to philo. And now today, unfortunately, because too many people keep bitching at me on Twitter, y'all talking a lot of shit, bro. Even on here, when you get the chance, I might have to charge you for today. You see how you're gonna like miss out on stuff because you complain about you can't overlook it. You see, so remember we could charge for philo, right? And you have to be I can make it private. You remember that, right? So yeah, I think we might do that here today. So there's the link, but yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm fucking with you. But look how easily I could do it. You see what I'm saying? So stop with the cap. Go make some money. Stop being angry. Get a long term and be a part of the community, or go in peace and find somewhere where you'll fit in better. So it's time for philo, though. You also got a bond auction coming in, and Trump is still talking. So yalla, baby, let's go. Don't worry. You could be a member if you want. You could all listen. You're not gonna miss anything. I'll still continue to work, baby. Don't worry. But like I'm saying, it's easy, bro. If you guys complain about it, I've been getting a lot of complainers lately, and I don't know if y'all mad that we keep winning or something. I don't know. Maybe that's it. But at the end of the day, bro, it's easy. If you could separate yourself. I could separate it. You could find a way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Or just be about it and get it where you fit in. So I will see you there, baby. And God bless America. Woo! Bye.